Hmm. Oke. Selamat malam semuanya, halo. Hmm, untuk hari ini rencananya aku akan main visual novel, judulnya A Dream of Summer. Tahun 2005 ya visual novelnya. Jadi di sini aku mainnya pakai browser dengan menggunakan platform namanya Novel Game. Jadi linknya juga sudah ada di description ya. Kamu tinggal klik linknya aja, nanti masuk ke page gamenya, terus bisa langsung main di browser. Dan kebetulan untuk A Dream of Summer ini sudah ada dua versi ya, bahasa Jepang dan bahasa Inggrisnya, sudah ada terjemahan. Untuk hari ini kita akan pakai bahasa Inggrisnya. Hai minasama, konbanwa. 今日は、ノベルゲームの配信を、やってみたいと思います。今日やっているゲームは、こちらのヒトナツの夢です。はい、2005年のゲームですけど、結構、いいゲームですので、皆さんにご紹介したいと思います。はい。今日は、英語版をやりたいと思います。はい。で、ゲームのリンクは概要欄にありますので、ぜひぜひそちらもチェックしてくださいね。では、早速始まりますか。OK。Mariaどうかな? Follow-nya gimana ya? Oke kah? Audio balance の方は大丈夫ですか? 大丈夫そうかな? Soalnya kayaknya udah oke ya? Oke, kalau gitu kita langsung lanjut main. Oke, ini ambil bacain ya. Chairs colored paper flowers stood in a row on top of the table. And the school festival was almost here. It was the kind of place where decoration like this were normal. Dan ini kayaknya lagi persiapan school festival ya. As I prepared to leave, I put one of the flowers into my cardboard box. Snowman keychain in hand, I dashed from the classroom. Soon, the sun began to set, rays melting into the sky, reflecting in the hall. I ran through the front gates and down the hall, past the avenue of vending machines standing in a row. I found a pure white cat.
Milk, いつもの場所に行こう。
Ini ada kucingnya ya, kucing warna putih namanya Milk ini ya. I said, cuddling the cat under my arms as I hurried up the stairs. As I struggled up the last set of stairs, right before my eyes, the front door burst open and an overwhelming red filled my vision. Then, the beautiful magical world spread out before me. The ocean and sky were flushed with crimson. The sun slowly sank into the horizon. I set the cat down and we were ready to go. Cantik banget ya pemandangan kayak gini. Mungkin kalau di Indonesia agak susah ya ngeliat dari atap sekolah gitu ya. Tapi kalau di Jepang atap sekolah itu kalau kayaknya agak lebih terbuka dan ada akses untuk umum. Hitonatsu no Yume. Title drop ya, Dream of Summer. 16 Juli, musim panas ya nih ya. Beep, beep, beep. I woke up to the noisy hammering of my alarm clock. Sitting up a little, I managed to shut it off. Last night, before getting into bed, I had begun to clean my room and had done a pretty good job of it. I was still a bit sleepy, but pulling my heavy body up, I yanked open the curtains. Even though the last third of July was approaching, the sun still shone brightly in the morning. My sleepiness faded a little. After changing my clothes, I headed downstairs. My mother looked surprised when she saw me.
おはよう、としき。土曜日なのにこんなに早く起きて、しかも制服なんか着てどうしたの？
Hari Sabtu ngapain ya pakai seragam? Beberapa sekolah tapi ada yang masuk kayak hari Sabtu ya.
寝ぼけた？
今日も学園祭の準備をするんだってさ。
Oke, ini point of view udah berubah ya. Tadi protagonisnya cewek, terus ini pindah ke protagonisnya cowok ya.
レイジのやつがやけに張り切っててさ。
Protagonisnya namanya Toshiki ya. Ini Reiji kayaknya temannya.
あらあら。朝食はいる？
At that, I crossed to the washroom and waved my hand in dismissal.
いや、いらない。多分学校で嫌なくらい焼きそばを食わされる予定。
Nih situasi festival sekolah kayaknya ya. Bikin yakisoba. With the conversation over, my morning routine was finished and I left for school.
行ってきます。
行ってきます。Gue bacain ha. Kuminari Koto High, where we attended, it masih SMA ya, atau SMP ya, and which by the way had a great view of the ocean from the deck, was preparing for a festival that was scheduled to happen in 2 days. Dan pemandangan tadi udah kita lihat ya, pas di prolog tadi. The dazzling decoration hung on the gates reflected the school's excitement. Initially though, it was the festival itself that was roasting. We had tomorrow off from school, but nevertheless, it was the eve of the festival, and a bunch of students came anyway. The festival was supposed to happen on Ocean Day, and we expected a lot of outside students and visitors to come. And finally, the closing event on campus would be a magnificent campfire gathering. I wondered to myself why such a bizarre number of people would participate at such a common event. Jadi di Jepang itu tradisinya ada kayak bikin satu api unggun gede gitu ya. Terus pada keliling dan muterin api unggunnya gitu ya. Jadi mungkin itu ya di sana umum, tapi kalau di tempat kita mungkin jarang yang kayak gitu ya. Halo random kid, thank you udah datang lagi. I didn't really like these kinds of events. It wasn't like I hated the actual event or anything. I just didn't really like large crowd. Ini protagonis banget ya. Aku tidak suka keramaian.
Yo.
Oh ya.
Toshiki.
Yeah. When I reached the school gate, I had a voice call out to me.
おはよう。その大げさな荷物はなんだよ。
Sedang main game apa? Aku udah main visual novel, judulnya A Dream of Summer ya. Aku tampilin dulu ya, biar yang baru datang pun bisa ngeliat. Ini tampilannya. Oke. Oh, aku harus kasih tahu linknya ada di description juga ya. Link gamenya ada di description. Oke. Cukup sehat, cukup dong. In front of me, a man was carrying so much stuff it almost looked as if he were running away.
何って中華鍋と携帯用超強力ガスコンロと焼きそば用の材料だ。
Random kid. This close guy who doesn't even exactly know what he's holding is Reiji Nishihara. Ini temannya Toshiki tadi ya berarti ya. The color of his hair is red and his style somewhat similarly to a purple sea orchid. Ini agak-agak tarpas gitu ya, pakai rambutnya kayak sea orchid tuh, landak lautnya. Lancip-lancip kan. He has the same height as I am at around 180 cm. But with his outrageous hairstyle, he's about 5 cm taller. Oke, 180 cm itu tinggi ya, apalagi untuk ukurannya di Jepang ya, 180 cm. Dan rambutnya tingginya 5 cm, wow. Needless to say, no matter how many times he's been told to the student counseling office, is still nothing but a delicate. Ini dipanggil terus ya ke ini apa? Ruang BP. Still, he's declared to be our class most spirited student in regards to the festival. He's completely different from me, whether it be strong leadership or charisma. And if in events such as this festival, he's a natural born leader. Ya, sering ya kita nemuin teman-teman kita yang kayak gitu ya. Yang kayak ada karismanya, kayak ini pemimpin banget nih. Kalau ada event-event pasti jadi leader gitu ya.
昨日俺の誘いをあれだけ嫌がってた割にはちゃんと来たね。
どうせちゃんと来なかったらお前は自宅まで乗り込んで俺を連れ去る気だったんだろ。
さすがトシキだ。よくわかっている。
Sahabat banget ya. Dia udah tahu kalau misalkan dia nggak datang pun pasti diseret sama si
そりゃ
siapa
中
tadi?
学からの仲だからな。
Reiji kah?
お前の考えは嫌でもわかる。
Aku lupa namanya. Bener nggak? Reiji ya. Temen sejak SMP ya. Enak ya kalau punya temen sejak SMP terus sampai SMA. Tuh biasanya bakal jadi sahabat seumur hidup ya. Soalnya masa-masa paling seru ya kata orang kalau SMP SMA itu.
愛されてるね。
Diledekin.
俺
気持ち悪いこと言うな。
But he wasn't a runaway. I arrived at the classroom with Reiji. Eager students had already begun to decorate the classroom. Ya, masih persiapan ini ya.
早速だが
Kalau di Indonesia biasanya apa sebutannya ya? Lupa. School festival tuh di Indonesia biasanya apa ya? Aku lupa istilahnya.
腹は空いているか。
おう、言われた通り朝食は食ってこなく。
Reggie put the stuff he was holding on the floor and skillfully set up the gas stove and food on the desk.
よろしい。これから俺がおいしい焼きそばを作ってやるからな。
With that, he began dicing the carrots, onions, green peppers, and cabbage with an insane amount of energy.
なあ、しばらく時間かかるのか。
10分とかからずできるがどうした。
いや、ジュースでも買ってこようかなって思って。
Akhirnya sesuai prediksinya Toshiki ya, dibikinin yakisoba.
ああ、そうか。金は後で渡すから俺の分も頼む。
何買ってくればいいんだ？
そうだな。モロヘイヤ 100% ジュースを頼む。
そんなの売ってるのかよ。
頼んだぞ。
Dan ini kelihatan banget ya di Jepang ada apa namanya? Vending machine. What kind of game is that? It's literally a visual novel, so nothing but stories. But this is one of my favorite visual novels, so I want to share this with you guys. I'll play this until the true end. And it's like a short novel, probably 1 or 2 hours long. So yeah, it's like one of the most how do you say it? Basic. Like you got all the experience in it to fall in love with this kind of game. The combination of the music, the scene, and voice acting really makes this game. So yeah, I want to share it with you guys. So the story is about this guy named Toshiki, so a student who's currently preparing for a school festival, and then he will meet a girl. So the girl in the cover, in the thumbnail, and yeah, it's about their romance. More or less. Like the last time I played this game is like when 2005, 2006. So yeah, I really want to experience that feeling again. So yeah, I'm playing this game all over again. Deep in thought, I arrived at the vending machines. First, I tried to look for Reggie's 100% red juice.
あったよ、おい。
Oh, ternyata ada ya menunya. So it really did exist. 100% red juice was written boldly in green, and that was it to the design. Below that, King of the greenish yellow vegetables was written in red, fitting for a poison warning label. If you look carefully, you could see a suspicious ghost on green written in black.
こんなもん、本当に飲める代物なのかよ。
No matter how I look at it, it didn't look like something that went down great during summertime. But for the time being, I bought the poisonous things as well as a sip cola for myself and headed back to the classroom. As I carried the cans back, there was an instant when my attention was drawn to the hallway near the stairs, but it didn't seem like anyone was there. So one of the aspects that make me fall in love with this game is it's fully voiced, so yeah, it really gives the immersive feeling visual novels.
気のせいかな。
Upon returning to the room, I saw Reiji there, tossing with a walk. Tossing with a walk. Masih bikin yakisoba.
もうすぐできるぞ。トシキ。
For the finishing touch, Reiji poured sesame oil lightly into the wok and tossed, spreading a savory aroma throughout the classroom. Then, he dished the yakisoba onto the plates smoothly, skillfully accompanied with bonito flakes, green liver, and red pickled ginger. Yakisoba, kalau ada yang belum tahu, yaki itu digoreng, soba itu semacam mie ya. Soba kayaknya ada banyak yang tahu ya, jadi kayak semacam mie goreng gitu ya. So yeah, if any of you don't know about soba, yakisoba is basically like a fried noodle, Japanese fried noodle.
よし、完成だ。ほら、トシキ、朝飯だ。
お前、見かけによらず相変わらず料理うまいな。
見た目によらずは余計だ。俺に褒めるならまず食ってから褒めてくれ。
ああ、いただきまーす。
他にも食いたいやつがいたら今からまとめて作ってやるから手を挙げろ。
With a loud cry, everyone who was watching raised their hands simultaneously. I broke open a pair of chopsticks, picked up the piping hot bonito and yakisoba, and brought it to my mouth.
うまい。
Enak ya. It's good.
そうだろう。そうだろう。
It seems that Reiji heard my slip.
今からお前たちの分まで作ってやるからな。
ほらジュース買ってきたぞ。
お、ご苦労ご苦労。ちょうど喉が渇いて。
He picked up one of the 2 cans from the desk and set them off.
おいちょっと、そっちは俺のコーラ。
やっぱり夏は炭酸飲料の一気飲みに限る。おっと、ほら、10歳。
Diisengin ya. Dikasih jus yang mengerikan. Is he cooking in class? When they met on the school entrance, you can see that Reiji was carrying a lot of things. So, yeah, this is also one of the features on this website that's really interesting. Like the backlog looks really nice and smooth. Yeah. No, I hope it's still. Is it still here? Yeah, it's still here. It's around here, right? So Reiji was carrying a wok, portable gas stove, and yakisoba ingredients. So like he's using this portable gas stove and wok to cook in class. So I ended up with the drink. I already had thoughts about it beforehand, but now that I had it, I opened it to take a look.
本当に飲めるのかよこれ。
The only person who knew of the existence of this drink was currently busy making yakisoba. It was impossible to get an answer out of him. Gulp. Gulp. I took a small sip. How should I say this? 100% had many different meanings.
喉越しは良くないな。
Ini tadi ini ya apa? Yang ada di kalengnya ya. Goes down great. It doesn't go down great. Oh. After finishing the yakisoba, I needed something to drink. The final drink I had in hand, rather than quenching my thirst, was making it even worse. So I ended up having to visit the vending machine again.
ねえねえしのりん、私見ちゃったかもしれない。見たって白い影がね、階段をスーって登っていったの。
What a guy. So yeah, they're currently preparing for school festival. So yeah, I think their class is planning to open a yakisoba, what they call it, yakisoba store, yakisoba stall, and yeah, he's like testing the recipe for yakisoba. So yeah, he cooked for his classmate and asked for feedback, I guess. And now we're starting at the mysterious point of this game, I guess. Yeah, white light just flew up the stairs.
あ、トシキ、ちょっと聞いてよ。
A female student with tied up shoulder-length hair was waving at me. The one with the yellow hair, right? Behind her was a short girl, eyes wet with tears.
おう香川、お前も学園祭の準備か？
あと明日の打ち合わせかな。
打ち合わせ？
そうそう、前夜祭のライブの打ち合わせ。
ああ、そういえばレイジのやつも張り切ってたな。
絶対に成功させるから、トシキも必ず見に来てね。
言われなくても見に行くって期待してるからな。
ありがとう。
Hey, so this girl named Kagawa seems like she's performing at live for the festival tomorrow. Yeah. Light from outside shone through her brown, close to golden hair and made it shine even more.
お前また髪の色抜いただろ。あげるぞ。
It's rude, okay? So don't ever say that to a girl, yeah?
ご忠告ありがとう。
She giggled, fiddling with her hair using her right hand.
しかもお前、よく見たらリボンまた変わってるじゃねえか。
かわいいでしょ。
So yeah, you can kind of see the difference here. Like, Kagawa is using something like a cute ribbon, but the student besides her is using the normal school uniform. Just shows her personality more, yeah?
また職員室に呼び出されるぞ。
Although yeah, it's kinda breaking the rules for school uniform, I guess.
慣れっこ慣れっこ。別にいいじゃない。これくらい。
The silicon of her girl is Mami Kagawa. So yeah, she's the blonde hair one is called Mami Kagawa. She's in a band called Roy with Reiji. The trembling, teary-eyed girl with short hair behind her is Roy's keyboardist, Rin Shinoi. Okay, so this girl is called Rin Shinoi, and the other one called Mami Kagawa. Yeah. She's wearing our school uniform. Despite all else, she is indeed a high school student. Like, she's really small, yeah, for a high school student. Kagawa is a third year like me, and Shinoi is a year below us. Kagawa's personality is never timid, where Shinoi is introverted. They're complete opposites, both inside and out. But they're still close friends. By the way, Roy looked like it should be read as boy.
ボーイって何の略だったっけ？
ビトウィーンレッドはイエローよ。それぞれの頭を取ってボーイ。常に赤か黄色の危険信号を発しているような音楽性を目指しているっていうのが私たちのコンセプト。
Between red or yellow.
それって実はすごく後ろ向きなんじゃん。
それとこれとは別なの。
What is keyboardist? Keyboardist is the one who play keyboard on the band, yeah? Not the computer one, but the musical instrument keyboard.
しかも音楽性って言ってもやってることはコピーだろ？なんだっけ？あの女性ボーカルの
レッドアイ。
そうそう。去年ミリオンヒット出してからいまいちパッとしないよな。
そんなことないわよ。確かに去年出したひと夏の夢は最高だけど、その後に出した曲もいい曲ばっかりよ。
Okay, so the song is directly taken from the game's title, A Dream of Summer. So yeah, it might probably become a interesting point in the game. Keyboard is like a piano, right? Yeah, keyboard is like a piano, but technically they work differently. So like, keyboard is something like an electric piano. Piano makes sounds by when you press the key, it tugs the string inside the piano and the hammer hits the string, so it creates sounds. But in keyboard, so it's like all electronic. Yeah, so keyboard is like electronic piano, but yeah, technically it's not really an electronic piano because it can do so much more than that. And there's still some aspect of the piano voice that cannot be replicated with keyboard. Personally, I prefer a piano to a keyboard because I am kind of more used to playing piano than keyboard. But yeah, basically it's kind of the same, but you can't really bring out piano everywhere, right? Because it's so heavy, but keyboard is more light, so it's easier to get around.
ほら、 最近出した曲もここ最近売れてるじゃない？あれってレッドアイのファーストアルバムに収録されていた曲がアレンジされたんだよ。昔からファンの間では人気の曲なんだ。やっぱり名曲はいくら年数が経っても名曲ってことだよね。まあトシキみたいな音楽のおの字もわからない人にはレッドアイの良さはわからないでしょうけどね。
Yeah, thanks for the explanation. Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, they're talking about this singer called Red Eye and the song Dream of Summer, and their band is like replicating, not exactly replicating, I guess, more like covering the songs of Red Eye.
だと
マミちゃん
We look at Shinoi, who seemed to have spoken up while we were having our little exchange.
と、そんなこと言うためにトシキを呼んだわけじゃないのよ。自動販売機の近くの階段で出るって噂、トシキも聞いたことあるでしょ？
出るって？
幽霊よ。幽霊。
Also, we're getting to the plot of the game, so they said that there's a ghost appearing on the skull, yeah?
ああ、俺そういう話信じないし。
でもね、私見たのよ。階段を上がっていく白いものを。
目の錯覚だろ。変な噂を信じるから思い込みでそういうのが見えたと思ってるだけじゃないのか？
本当なんだって。ほら、去年の学園祭前に屋上から転落して死んじゃった生徒がいるでしょ？
Oh, ngeri ya, ada yang bunuh diri. Bukan bunuh diri ya, mati ya, jatuh ya.
最近その子がこの世に未練を残して学校中をうろついているって噂なのよ。
はいはい。俺もその自動販売機にこれから用があるから気が向いたら思い込んでやるよ。
What can you call me on? Basically, it's free. You can call me whatever you want, but most of my viewer calls me Reti, so yeah, you can call me Reti.
信じてないわね。
信じられるかよ。そんな何の信憑性もない話。
この現実主義者め。
現実主義で結構。それじゃあライブ楽しみにしてるからな。
So, being thirsty as I was, I ended the conversation and headed to the vending machine once again. I took out some small change and looked at the option on the vending machine, a little troubled. The first thing I did was pass on the green thing that on the far right, but I didn't feel like drinking cola anymore, so I passed on the rest of the carbonated drinks for the same reason. And after that nightmare earlier, I didn't want any 100% juice. It was between the coffee and the sport drinks. So let's choose sport drink for this time. Yes, this one was for the sports drink. After pushing the button for sports drink, I noticed something.
まさかな。
There was a warm label in a red light near the sports drinks.
いくらなんでもスポーツ飲料が温かいはずは。
The existence of a hot coffee vending machine itself during summer was pretty rare too. It was probably forgotten by a merchant, I thought, as I stuck my hand in it in despair.
温かい。いや、むしろ熱い。
Bayangin kalian beli Pocari Sweat tapi anget-anget bahkan panas gitu ya. Gimana ya? So imagine you guys bought a Pocari Sweat and it's warm, it's hot, so it's like disgusting, right? The sport drink can was hotter than I could have ever imagined.
こんなの飲めるか。
Taking out my money, I look at the option again. Let's go with the juice this time, just to make our protagonist suffer. Aman gak nih fan-nya? Aman dong. Wait, was I safe? I stared at the dangerously colored can as if to ask it a question. No, if you look at it carefully, didn't the packaging make a lot of sense? The name was the reason I'd overthought it and ended up hating the drink. If I'd drunk it without any prejudice, the drink might have been surprisingly good. So, trusting my vigorously positive self, I opened the can once more. The seal broke at once. I swallowed heavily.
やっぱりまずいもんはまずいな。
And now my mouth felt gross.
もういいや。さっきと同じコーラを買おう。あ、
While getting money from my wallet, a 100 yen coin fell out. It rolled further and further away from me.
まったく。今日はなんかついてないな。
I walked following the coin until it stopped. Soon enough, it slowed down and fell on its side. I quickly picked it up and noticed that I was at the foot of the stairs.
幽霊ね。
So yeah, it's what the girls talked about earlier, right? That there's a ghost in the school near the stairs. Since I'd never seen anything of the sort, or believe in them at all, it seemed like an okay thing to say. But then I remembered that when I'd gone to the vending machine earlier, I had gotten a weird feeling that something was going up the stairs.
バカバカしい。
I looked up the stairs and was about to leave when something passed right by my feet.
うわっってなんだよ。猫かよ。
The white cat went up the stairs to the next landing and paused just long enough to look at to surprise me. In its mouth was something that was as white as the cat itself. But before I could confirm what it was, it ran off and it was like it was never there. If I realized that I probably looked like a total idiot, needing little convincing, I took up the stairs after the white cat. It seemed the cat had lived here even before I started school here. The teacher all tried to drive it out, but eventually gave up and wouldn't say anything anymore. There were even both teachers and students who shared their lunch with the cat now. The white light Kahlua also could have been the cat, right? Then the rumor of the ghost could be attributed to this too. And so the protagonist is like really the way Kahlua put it is realist. So he's trying to make sense of this experience he's feeling right now. The white cat climbed those stairs with so much ease that I couldn't even catch up to it, and now I was on the top floor. The door to the roof, a place I usually didn't go to, was open just enough for a cat to slip through. Thanks to the run up the stairs, I was all sweaty now. As I opened the door, though, like, I wish I had at least bought the juice, or I should have never chased the cat in the first place, ran through my head. So yeah, he is chasing after his coin and he didn't even buy the juice. The moment I opened the door, rays of sunlight burst through and I was met with a pleasant smell of the sea breeze. There was not a cloud in the blue sky, which seemed to stretch forever into eternity. And directly opposite of it, with a distinctive boundary line, another blue continued on as well, no less majestic than the sky. If you didn't look too closely, you wouldn't even be able to see the horizon. So like the school is positioned very nicely between, so you can see the sky and the ocean from the rooftop. Yeah.
すげえ。
Even though I'd grown tired of seeing the ocean, a scene like this moved me. I moved closer to the fence to get a better look.
あんまりそっちに近づくと危ないですよ。
I turned around at the sudden voice from behind.
ほらほら、フェンスが壊れてる。
Yeah, you can actually see the fence is broken, right? Like in the background. And sure enough, neighborhood fence was missing and was covered with vinyl tape.
ただでさえ低いフェンスなんですから危ないですよ。
Even while she was saying that, she had her arms on the fence, chin resting on her right. Hello, hello, Octavius. So yeah, this girl is the main heroine from the game cover.
しかし説得力ないな。おい、危ないんじゃなかったのか？
私は前々からここにいるから大丈夫なんですよ。
Brits were pretty rare nowadays. She had an innocent look, big eyes, and was kind of short.
いかにも年下の女の子って設定にぴったりだな。
Comparatively, her chest was pretty big. If I'd actually said that out loud, it would have been a sexual harassment. Being the gentleman that I was, I shut out the stuff.
トップが無駄にでかいわけではなく、アンダーが引き締まってるってのはなかなか理想だぞ。
何の話ですか？
いや、気にするな。俺の高尚な趣味だ。
Cute girl, right? She's really cute then. Till I wondered why. Her eyes were focused between the ocean and the sky, but for some reason there seems to be a hint of sadness in them.
いい場所ですよね。ここ。
な？
海と空って本当は一つに繋がってるんだよってこの光景を見せられたら信じちゃいますよね。
んなこと信じるバカいねえよ。
あなたはもしかして現実主義者ですか？
So yeah, this girl also pointed out that our protagonist is a realist.
もしかしなくても現実主義者。
ですよね。
As she laughed, her braids fluttered in the sea breeze.
むしろお前誰だよ。
むしろって何ですか？
Now look at this pose, isn't it so cute?
んじゃついでに。
それもおかしいです。
それじゃあ古今東西。
新手のゲームかなんかですか？
もう細かいこと気にするなよ。古今東西、お前誰だよ。
はあ、おかしな人に声かけちゃったな。
んだと？
葉月水菜。
葉月水菜。
2年 C 組葉月水菜。
葉月水菜。水菜、葉月? It seemed as though I'd heard that name before. That name somewhere before.
古今東西。あなたは誰？
Like a picture throwing a ball, she pointed straight at me.
なんだそれ。新手のゲームか？
性格悪いって言われません？
それなりに。
ですよね。
The girl looked past the fence again. There was definitely something sad about her eyes.
菅井俊樹。3年 A 組だ。どうした？
いえ、別に何でもないです。ただ名前は意外と普通だなって。
なんか引っかかる言い方だな。
They're dating. No, no, they're not dating yet. This is like the introduction scene, right? Their first meeting.
ああ、そういえばなんでだっけかな。
学園祭の準備をサボってるんですか？
そういうわけでもないんだが。あ、そうそう。白猫を追いかけてきたんだ。
白猫？ミルクのことかな。
ミルク？
ほら、この学校に居座っている白猫、あの子の名前。
ミルクっていうのか、あの猫。
そうですよ。ミルクは昔からこの学校に住んでいて、私とよく遊んでたんですよ。あ、私家が学校の近くなんですよ。だからここを通るたびにミルクに餌をあげたりしてたんです。時々先生に怒られましたけどね。私もあの子探してるんですけど、この辺にはいないみたいですね。
いや、俺は確かにあの猫を追いかけてここに来たはずなんだけどな。
あの子、神出鬼没だから。
Her voice was cheerful when giving that answer, but the look in her eyes seemed lonely.
はい？私、変なこと言いました？
いや、別に。
At a glance, she seemed to be spacing out, so it was hard to say what she was thinking. It looked like she wasn't thinking about anything in particular, but like before, there seemed to be something heavy in her heart.
神出鬼没といえば、この屋上に続く階段のあたりで幽霊が出るって話聞いたことあるか？
え？
Her expression seemed to have stiffened. Maybe she wasn't good with this kind of stuff?
去年の学園祭前に屋上から転落して死んだ生徒がいただろ。どうもその霊が学園祭前になって学校中をうろついているって話だぞ。
I modified what I'd heard and told it to her.
ほら、そんなの学校によくある話だよね。そんなの絶対にいるはずないですよ。
って、それってもしかしてその壊れたフェンスから落ちたんじゃないのか
It seemed like a relevant thing to say because it could have been true, and it really did feel like someone had fallen from that broken fence before.
としき先輩のクラスは何をするんです？
The stuff I'd said must really scared her. She looked quite pale and changed the subject quickly. It might have been more interesting to continue, but I decided to leave it as is.
俺のクラスは焼きそば屋だな。
Okay, so yeah, the protagonist class is selling yakisoba, so like Reiji was definitely preparing for this stall, yeah.
私のクラスも食べ物屋さんが良かったです。
おさげのクラスは何をするんだ？
おさげって誰です？
お前以外の誰がいるって言うんだ？
私の名前は水菜です。
おさげの方が呼びやすいし分かりやすい。
呼びやすくても分かりやすくても私は嫌です。
古今東西、おさげのクラスは何をするんだ？
もうどうでもいいです。どうせ私は古今東西おさげ神ですよ。
言葉の使い方、それで合ってんのか？
多分合ってます。多分。
It seemed like she wasn't too confident.
ですね、私のクラスはお化け屋敷をやるんですよ。
へえ、お化け屋敷って1年に1クラスは絶対にやるよな。
確かにそうですよね。
しかもほとんどのクラスは手抜きだよな。全然怖くねえの。
私のクラスはそんなことないですよ。
さあどうだか。
疑ってる。絶対に怖いですから絶対に来てくださいね。
ああ、はいはい、覚えてたらな。
はい、絶対驚かせますからね。
The sun had gotten higher, so it was definitely hotter compared to this morning. With nothing on the roof blocking up the rays of sunlight, the concrete hesitated. She looked lively enough, but her complexion went back to the color it had been when we were on the topic of ghosts.
そろそろ教室に戻った方がいいんじゃねえか？
いいんですよ。もうちょっとここでサボっていたいです。
ここじゃ暑いだろ。踊り場に移動しようぜ。
この場所が好きだから大丈夫です。それに私が病弱で発光な少女にでも見えますか？
打っても打ってもへこまない食い釘のようにとてもたくましい女に見えるかな。
そんなこと言われると普通にへこみますよ。
ま、それは冗談だとしてもこれだけ暑ければ日射病にかかるぞ。
もうちょっとここにいたいんですよ。
Why? And she said that there was sadness reflected in her eyes.
そっか。それじゃあジュースでも買ってきてやるよ。何が飲みたい？
いいですよ。私今日お金持ってきてないんですよ。
それくらいおごるって。
それは悪いです。
それじゃあ俺が勝手に選んで買ってくるぞ。
それじゃあ炭酸飲料以外がいいです。
炭酸飲料以外だな。じゃあ買ってくるな。
Like, isn't it so cute, their interaction? Really nice, right? Seeing this kind of interaction. She kept spacing out, but there was something more. What was the occasional sadness in her eyes, and her reaction to the talk about the broken fence? Maybe they were related somehow? And Mizuna Hazuki. I had the feeling I'd heard about her before, but I couldn't remember when or where. For the third time today, I was at the vending machine. She hadn't given me any details beyond anything non-carbonated, so I decided to press the button on the far right and got a cola for myself, holding two cans I had back to her.
おい、買ってきたぞ。
I opened the slightly heavy door and stepped into the blazing sun.
あれ？
The girl was gone, even though she had just been there. I didn't know whether the sun had been too strong for her and she had gone back to Carl's classroom or something. But my main problem was what to do with the extra can in my hand.
この危険物をどう処分するか。
The poisonously green label of the 100% red jet juice sparkled in the sunlight.
教室に戻るか。
I couldn't throw it away and ended up chugging it, washing it down with my cola to end this ordeal. I felt like I'd absorbed a full year worth of greenish yellow vegetables. So, like, he ended up drinking, like, how many? 3 cans? 3 cans of this 100% red jet juice.
どこほっつき歩いてたんだ？
When I got back to the room, Reggie pointed his walk at me and shouted.
なんだよ。
今日学校に何をしに来たのか忘れたのか？
学園祭の準備だろ。
おおむね正解だが正確にはお前には今日一日で西原流焼きそばを
は？
すべこ言わず
With that, he began his lecture in making yakisoba.
まず麺をチンする。
チン？電子レンジで？
そうだ。家庭用の電子レンジならだいたい1分くらいチンすると麺が程よく温まり、レンジに入れたら中華鍋を。
これ結構重たいんだけど、なんでわざわざ中華鍋で？
電気プレートで作るよりうまいし洗いやすい。野菜はあらかじめ俺がそこに切ってある。まず鍋が温まったら肉を4から5切れほど入れて火が少し焦げるくらいがちょうどいい。ここで注意すべきは鍋が熱すぎると肉に熱が通らない。逆に鍋の温度が不十分だと肉がぐちゃっと。
While he was talking, I put in some pork. The meat made a sizzling noise as it cooked.
焼けたら次は野菜だ。
Bang on the microwave. I turned to look in the direction of the noise.
そうし、麺の袋をちゃんと切ってからレンジに。
いや、そのままぶち込んだ。
ちゃんと袋を切ってから入れないとこの通り破裂するからな。
Ingat ya, kalau masukin sesuatu ke microwave, buka dulu ya packingnya ya.
気をつけろよ。
えい。
まあ、袋が破裂した。よし、次は野菜だ。キャベツ。ある。
So basically, he's instructing our protagonist to create the yakisoba. Well, I'll just fast forward toward this part.
そし 最後に初めて見
Somewhat raging, my pit tossed with the walk until my arm began to hurt. Even the people in the room who had flocked to get food stopped paying attention to me and continued on with the class preparation once we got to the refill.
よし、いいだろう。
お、解放してくれるのか。
俺はこれから香川たちと明日の打ち合わせがある。
明日の前夜祭のライブだよな。
So yeah, they're playing. So he's also part of the band, right? The boys.
体育館でリハもするから、この後暇だったら。
おう。
I said goodbye to Reggie and headed down the hall. Before I knew it, the clock had struck noon. It was usually the time I had a quick bento, but today I didn't so much yakisoba that I was totally stuffed. Exactly like what he predicted when he was going out from his house, right? The aftersun was heating things up even now.
0時には言ったけど、暑いから帰るかな。
As I was heading for the door, that white cat haughtily ran away past my feet again. How impudent! I glared after it, daring it to run. As if it felt my bloodlust, it dashed away.
くそ、待て。
As if it was making fun of me, the cat zigzagged down the hall, and before long it was running up the stairs. Out of control, I felt that no matter what, I had to catch it.
ちくしょう。明日は全身筋肉痛になってそうだ。
My whole body dripping with sweat, I continued on the stairs, panting. And before I knew it, I was in front of the door that led to the roof. Of course, there was a gap just wide enough for a cat to go through.
あの野郎、今度こそ捕まえてやれ。
I threw open the door and rushed out.
白猫。
The girl looked at me, taken aback by my sudden shouting.
あ、としき先輩だ。
And we're back with our girls, Hazuki Mizuna.
なんだよ。またお下げかよ。
私じゃ不満ですか？
胸のラインだけ満足。いや、そんなことより。
ミルクのことで。ミルクならここにいますよ。
She turned to face me and snug against her chest in her arms was the white cat.
くそ。何気に羨ましいポジションに。気にするな。ただの独り言。そんなことより、そいつをそのまま離すなよ。
なんでですか？
なんでも。
It was my chance to get at the cat. I slowly approached Brady. I held my hands when the cat was in my reach, but suddenly it leapt from the girl's hand onto my face. My shot resonated on the roof.
ああ、ミルク逃げちゃった。
くそ。あと一歩だったのに。
動物虐待はダメ。
She looked at me with a fixed stare.
いや、虐待されたのはむしろ。
She looked in the direction of where the cat had run off.
私、ミルクとは昔から仲いいんですよ。
なんかお前、動物以外友達いなさそうだ。
ああ、ひどい。そんなことないです。
She went back to the fence and stared off into the distance.
そういえば、さっき
ちょっと日差しにやられて教室に戻ってました。
その割には懲りずにここにいるんだな。
ここだと友達にも見つからないですからね。
友達にだけ準備をやらせてひどいやつだな。
ほとんど終わってますから、私がいなくても大丈夫です。
The two of us fell into kind of silence. I leaned on the fence, looking at the girl next to me. Okay, so here we got our first CG, yeah? Let's take this screenshot and post it on Twitter. Okay. Sad eyes. She said she liked this place, so why did her eyes look that way? The heat haze from the concrete made the area shimmer. Quietly, the time went by. Maybe the student that had fallen was a friend of hers? That would explain why she had such a sad look in her eyes right now. That was nothing but just speculation, but now, I didn't know what to say to her.
どうかしました？
She noticed me watching her and looked at me. Our eyes met for an instant and I looked away reminiscently.
いや、別に。
もしかして私の顔に見とれてたりなんかしちゃってたり。
それはない。
こっちは冗談で言ったのに、即答で力いっぱい否定されると傷つきますよ。
She gazed in the direction of the gym and smiled bitterly.
何か聞こえますね。
Her lips parted a little.
この曲、レッドアイの曲。
ああ、レイジたちのリハが始まったんだな。俺の仲間でボーイってバンド名でレッドアイのコピーバンドやってるんだ。明日の前夜祭でライブやるんだとよ。
レッドアイの曲、私も大好きです。特にひと夏の夢は最高ですよね。
お前、香川と同じこと言ってるな。
香川？
ああ、ボーイのボーカル。なんなら今から体育館行ってみるか？そこでリハやってるって言ってたから、ひと夏の夢も聞けるかもよ。
ぜひ聞きたいです。
When we arrived at the gym, they just got on their 1-hour break.
よう、レイジ。頑張ってるか？
おう、トシキ。あれ、隣の。
ああ、こいつはおさげ。
おさげって名前じゃないです。
こいつがレイジ。さっき言ってたボーイのベースをやってるん。
I actually wasn't acquainted with the guitarist, so I didn't know his name. I'd also never really spoken to Shinoi, as she was always with Kagawa. At the moment, she was on the stage, keeping an eye on her keyboard and scores. Occasionally, she would play a few short melodies.
はじめまして。
はじめまして。葉月みつねです。
お前も学園祭前に女を作るとはいいご身分だな。
女？
そんなんじゃないですよ。
香川はどこ行った？
ああ、いつもだったら無理やりにでも練習に付き合わされるのに。まったく。
ひと夏の夢が聞きたかったです。残念。
お、リズナちゃんはレッドアイ好きか？
はい、大好きなんですよ。
ひと夏の夢が好きならもちろん歌えるよな。
当然じゃないです。歌詞も暗記してますよ。少しだけキーが高いですけどね。
じゃあ今ちょっと歌ってみるか。
はい。
俺たちが演奏するから。
Reggie forcefully handed the mic to her and dragged her into the stage.
トシキ先輩、助けてくださいよ。
She raised her voice pitifully over the mic.
せっかくなんだから歌えよ。
恥ずかしい。
The music started. Ready to with a bewildered expression on her face. With Shinoi's piano solo and slow tempo, the set intro began. Preparing herself, she closed her eye and brought the mic to her mouth. When she began to sing, everyone was surprised. As clear as the sky admired today on the roof, her voice resounded through the gymnasium. I forgot that I was sitting alone and lost myself in her voice. It was just... contrary to her saying that she liked this song, she looked very sad while she was singing it. It was the same sad look as when she had said she liked the rooftop. It's true that the lyric and the title were sad. It was a painful, abstract composition about a young girl's memory of the only summer she had with the person she loved. With a painful melody and its lyrics of moving on from sorrow, it captured the heart of youth. That was probably the reason this song was a hit. She continued singing with her eyes closed. Was it because she was trying to remember the lyrics? Or was it because she was trying not to let the others see more of her sadness? Like I began, the song ended with a piano solo. There's a reverberating echo for a brief moment, and then she opened her eyes and shouted into the mic. That echoing memory lingered no longer. Then the mood dissipated
しのちゃん
into idle chatting, people saying whatever come to
いい
mind.
かな
While waiting for Shinoi's answer, Brady placed her fingers on the keyboard.
なんだよ。もったいぶらずにその三つ編みでいつものように。
なんで私がそんな人間びっくり症みたいなことを
あれ、できな。残念。
残念がられても
Look at this two interaction, like they're already dating. Interaksi mereka berdua, imut banget ya. I noticed Shoi laughing next to Brady.
しのちゃんまで笑う
With Shinoi's attentive teaching, an original melody flowed through the gym. For a while, they played the piano and talked about their beloved eye blossom. Before long, the gym became lit with orange-colored lights.
明日絶対にライブ見に来ますから
She got her hand to her chest.
おう、水菜ちゃんもすごいけど、香川の歌も負けず劣らずだから。
私なんて
She shook her head in denial. Her breath swung the other way, somehow not matching her head.
それじゃあ帰るか。おさげの家はこの辺だって言ってたよな。途中まで一緒に帰るか？
Oh, come on. Look at their interaction. They've just met. Yeah. They literally met today and they're already close. So cute.
あせっかくですけどですからここでさよならしのちゃんもまたね
Shinoi shyly waved her hand.
それじゃあまた明日な。
また明日です
I walked with Reggie to the gate and stopped.
どうした？
教室にカバン忘れ。
I thought I felt way too light to be normal.
悪い。教室戻るわ。それじゃあ明日な。
今日はちゃんと寝て万全の。
I smiled bitterly at those words, and frankly, I was a bit jealous of his ability to feel so energized for an event like this. I got back to the classroom, grabbed my abandoned bag from my desk, and went back out into the hallway.
ん？
As I was heading to the entrance, I caught a faint melody of a piano. I stopped and strained my ears to listen. From behind the school, the cry of seagulls and rolling waved me, but I was certain I heard it. A piano melody. It was the same as the one from the gym earlier. Okay, so this is actually how do you say this? Okay. So this is actually the branching point. So there are two heroines for this game. One is Hazuki Mizuna and the other is the keyboardist Shinoi. And for this stream, I'll go straight to the Mizuna route. So we have to go. By the time I got home, it was quite dark.
ただいま
おかえり。遅かったわね。夕ご飯できてるわよ。
After dinner, I went back to my room and mindlessly went over this event, which was unlike me.
葉月水菜。絶対にどこかで聞いたことがあるような気がするんだよな。
I kept almost remembering but couldn't quite grasp it. So I gave up, irritated, and let my thoughts drift elsewhere. pretty relaxing game, right? Yeah, it's pretty relaxing, but yeah, so it's basically consists of like 2 or 3 days. I don't really remember. Yeah, and it's really a short game. It's relaxing and so good in my opinion.
トシキ、そっち持ってくれ。
So we've already passed the first day and going to the second day. It was the day before the festival. The very last of the preparation were going on.
ってなんだよ。このでっかい看板は。
こういうイベントではインパクトが大事だろ。
Reggie had both his arms stretched to the ceiling height, so I brought over the enormous wood sign.
これ見た目通りめちゃくちゃ重たいじゃねえか。こんなもんどうやってここまで運んできたんだよ。
細かいことは気にするな、トシキよ。
With Reggie, there are times when I have no idea what category he belongs in when it comes to common sense.
こんなもんが倒れてきたら大事故になる。
In the end, when the two of us couldn't do it, we called over 3 or 4 other people that were lying around and managed to get it over the entrance of our classroom.
しっかり。
With that, he pulled her up and tied the sign tightly.
それにしても暑いな。
Come to the school in the afternoon today, and now it was around 2. Then with a thinking I spoke. The classroom was pleasantly cool when I went in, and it felt like ice water on my skin after the hard work I'd just done.
俺はもうこの教室から出たくない。
Out of topic question, no problem. Where did I learn Japanese? I just watched anime, played some games like this, and before I knew it, I already learned Japanese that way. Well, yeah, like after watching anime and playing this kind of games for how long? 3 to 4 years. One day I downloaded the wrong file for an anime and like there were no subtitles for that anime, but like surprisingly I understood the anime and so I managed to learn Japanese unconsciously. Yeah, so and from there I just keep playing these kind of games because normally it's not in English, right? So basically it's actually a Japanese game. Yeah. So yeah, I heard what they said. And then because I already know the vocabulary, then I match it with what was written, and yeah, that's how I learned Japanese. And playing card games also helped because the card was written in simple Japanese. So like from there, I keep adding many vocabulary to my knowledge. Yeah, basically just time. Yeah. When you spend a long of time with one language, one way or another, you're actually learning from it.
な、とにかく野菜を。
今野菜作っても腐るんじゃないのか。
大事。ちゃんと冷蔵庫もここに。
Before I knew it, a third of the room had been turned into a kitchen.
おい、なんで教室に蛇口があるんだよ。
Yeah, actually, pretty hard to learn Japanese without a teacher. But so it's not that I don't have a teacher. Basically, someone taught me. So my friend taught me very simple Japanese, right? So he taught me. My friend taught me for hiragana and katakana. Basically, it was like a pretty quick lesson. He just gave me a list of all hiragana and katakana, and then like my friend told me to choose one song and print out the lyrics of that song. And then as I heard through those songs, I write the hiragana and katakana of the lyrics, and like in 2 or 3 days I already remember all of the hiragana and katakana that way. It was quite Spartan, but yeah, it works. Speaking Japanese, any tips on speaking Japanese? Probably it's best to learn the vocabulary first. So if you learn the vocabulary, you know what you want to talk, what words you should use when you want to talk, right? Then after that, it's just a matter of structure and your confidence in speaking. So yeah, I really recommend learning about the vocabulary first. And for that, I think the popular application Duolingo right now is quite a good platform to learn about the Japanese language. All language actually, because yeah, you don't just learn about the vocabulary, but you also learn the structure of the sentence, because every language have different structure, right? For example, in English, it's I eat a fish, for example. So yeah, first is the subject, then the verb, and the object, right? For Japanese, it's actually not structured that way. So, 私は魚を食べました。For example, yeah. So, 私は is the subject, I, then 魚を it's the fish, so the object goes first, the subject, object, and then 食べました, the verb. Then putting the した as past tense. Yeah, so yeah, those kind of things, it's actually really important, but I didn't really learn it. So I think it's best to start from the vocabulary. Then after that, you just keep hearing Japanese dialogues, and you would probably learn the structure that way, indirectly. I also recommend hearing Japanese radio, or some radio or audio drama, because it really helps you shape the language, and by hearing a lot of the language, you can also speak the language. At least that's how it worked for me. So I hope that helps. Yeah, basically I just copied the way they talk in anime, and after that I heard the radio, and because in the radio it's more like what is it, informal. So yeah, the language in anime is actually pretty normal and rigid. So after that, you should hear what the Japanese actually speak, how the Japanese actually speak, and it will become smoother and smoother. I don't actually can speak Japanese that well, because when 2 or 3 people are speaking, I got lost in the conversation. Yeah, basically I just become a passive speaker, right? Hi, so desu ne, something like that. Yeah, I hope that one day I can become an active speaker in Japanese language. Let's continue.
それじゃ
So yeah, they're still
仕込みが終わった
talking about yakisoba here. Tonight's event was listed in the pamphlet. First was the variety show. The first half would include comedians and magic show. The second half listed the band's names. So yeah, in Japanese school festival, there's like this stage where everyone can perform, and yeah, it includes students aspiring to be comedians and magic shows. So like it's really interesting. At least that's how I saw it in the media.
お、レイジたちのバンド最後じゃん。
According to the program, everything would end at 9. For the of the festival and tomorrow's ending ceremonies, students were allowed to go in and out of school until 10 at night. And of course, there would be students who would drink and subsequently end up getting yelled at in the counseling office. Yeah, I hope my tips help with your journey in learning Japanese language. It's very unique language, and I really like the way it sounds. So it's just a matter of how much they enjoy the process. I saw an item in front of class 2C. So class 2C was Hazuki Mizuna's classroom, and she said that her classroom were doing a haunted house. Yeah. As I expected, there was a black curtain hiding everything from the view, and paper mache ghosts were stuck near the door. One could only imagine what was going on inside. They were still going on out, but I couldn't find Brady. She might have been behind the curtain, but I figured she was probably on the roof again, so I left. Just as I thought, the afternoon sun shone on the headstock roof, making it much warmer than the hallway.
やっぱりここにいたな。
としき先輩、どうしたんですか？
前夜祭までちょっと時間が空いてさ。
To be precise, Ari should have been preparing. But even if there wasn't enough food, Reiji would take care of it by chopping everything out with his insane amount of energy tomorrow anyway.
ほら、差し入れ。
Hey, we got our second CG. Let's post it on Twitter. Actually, I don't know if it's okay to post all of the CG on Twitter. So yeah, let's forget about this CG. I thought were the oranges that I bought before coming here. She reached out with both hands, but it bounced and looked like it was going to fall. Wow, she yelped, and her posture made her skirt flutter up suggestively. It lasted for about 3 seconds though. I concentrated with all my might and got a small whiff of pure white sacredness. Too bad I didn't get the chance to admire for long. That was what one can have just bought me.
次からはもう少し手前に投げよう。
I learned. He learned, guys. He learned.
これは
ここにずっといたんなら暑かっただろ。
そんなにずっとってわけでもないですけど、ありがとうございます。
I thought about getting her the 100% red juice, but I hadn't, being a repeat of Victory's nightmare. Yeah, so he bought the 100% red juice, and when he goes up, actually Mizuna was not there anymore, and he has to drink his juice. Like, yeah, he doesn't want to experience that again, I guess.
お金。
いいって。俺が勝手に買ってきたんだから。とにかく気にしないで飲んで。
はい。それじゃあいただきます。
She opened it and took a small sip.
おいしい。
The sun shone through her hair onto her slightly perspiring forehead and illuminated her smile. I thought she was going to take a much bigger swig, so such a girly gesture from her startled me a bit. Smack. I hit myself on the head lightly.
突然どうしたんです？
いや、なんでも。
I was shocked at myself for being entranced with her. Ever since she had been on stage yesterday. So yeah, our protagonist has started to fall in love with this girl.
としき先輩ってどうしてこの高校に入ったんですか？
約束したからな。
約束？
そう、約束。昔に初恋の女の子がいてさ。初恋って言ってもひと夏の間一緒に遊んだだけなんだけどさ。その子と約束したんだ。
それでそのことはあったんですか？
はははいや、これがまたその子の姿どころか名前すら思い出せないんだよ。だから調べようがなくてさ。
としき先輩、現実主義なのにそういうところはロマンチストなんですね。
向こうは向こうで俺のことなんて忘れてるだろうし。
そんなことないですよ。としき先輩みたいな人を忘れるなんてなかなか難しいですよ。
褒めてるのかそれ。
褒めてるんですよ。
そのことは地域の関係で小学校が違ったんだ。中学からは同じ学校に通える予定だったんだけど、確か母親の実家に帰らないといけない。
としき先輩は今でもその子のことが好きなんですね。
なんでだよ。
なんとなく。
まあでもそうかもしれないな。きっとその子も約束を覚えていて再会できたら。
再会できたら？
なんでこんなことをお前に話さないといけないんだ。
としき先輩が勝手に話してたんじゃないですか。
うるさいうるさい。この話はこれでおしまい。
I opened the Kahlua outlet and shocked half of it down in embarrassment.
あの時のことはひと夏の夢だったって綺麗な思い出にしていた方がいいのかもな。
先輩、そういうセリフが素晴らしく似合わないです。
褒めてるのそれって
褒めてるんですよ。
明らかにバカにしてるだろ。
I sitting behind her and young those two braids of hers.
痛い。ごめんなさい。
I let go suddenly and she sat down, looking up at me with teary eyes.
としき先輩、ひどいです。
She struck her braids with her right hand.
としき先輩は明日の予定はどうなってる？
予定？
Getting back up, she took another sip from the orange juice. Somehow she'd managed not to spill it.
もしよかったら一緒に学園祭を回ります。
She brought the can to her mouth again and took a gulp.
もしかして先約とかあります？
She's asking him out! So
いや
cute.
そんなものはない。
としき先輩って付き合っている彼女とかいないんです？
いないな。さっきの話に戻るけど、まだちょっと約束の女の子が気になってさ。高校にいる間はそういうのは作ら。
わー、としき先輩見かけによらず。
見かけによらずは余計だ。実際のところは今まで女の子と。
それは寂しいですね。
Jomblo seumur hidup.
そういうお前はどうなんだよ。
私、明日としき先輩を誘って学園祭回ろうとしている私にそういう人がいるように見えます？
いや、
ひどい。
She smacked my chest with her hands.
ほらほら、クソ暑いんだからや。
I put my palm on her head and held her away, making it impossible for her to hit me again.
明日は午前中0時と焼きそば作らないといけない。午後からなら空いてるぞ。
It wasn't like I had anything special planned, and I thought it would be interesting to walk around the festival with a girl like her.
本当です。あ、それじゃあお昼近くになったら。
それじゃああいつ。
ここはあえてとしき先輩が作った焼きそば
Ah,
が
look at them, so cute!
あえて
もし何か不備があっ
嫌な客だな。
Look at this
それは
interaction.
冗談ですよ。としき先輩が作ってくださいね。
Literally,
手が空いてたらな。
station. What is the English word for station? I actually don't know.
私
うちの学校
ですよね。あ、これもよかったらでいいんですけど、前も前。
っていうかさ、あれって一緒に踊るというかみんなで踊る。友達とでも
そんなこと言わずに。
気が向い。
それじゃあ明日は恋人のいない同士、恋人気分で楽しみませんか？
なんだよ
Look
それ。
at that, so cute.
嫌ですか？
嫌というか、それは
それじゃあ手をつながないで腕を組めばいいんです。
もっと恥ずかしいって。
Because holding hands are weird to her.
わがままいいじゃないです。せっかくの学園祭です。
それは
それじゃあ決まり。
でも
何か
Brings her smiling face, a history of a butcher's from blood.
俺なんかが
それじゃああと1時間ぐらいで前夜祭が始まりますね。
I look at the watch on my left hand, checking the time. The sun was sinking into the horizon. The sunlight dyed everything crimson and it reflected upon the ocean surface like a mirror of light.
ここから見える。
squinting, she watched the horizon. Her usually sad eyes seems to be laughing.
私、幼い頃に太陽が海に沈むとき、ジュッて音がするって信じてました。
おいおい、そりゃ大惨事。
For a while, we passed the time talking about useless things. The shadows stretch and the sea breeze become cool. Eventually, I began to worry about how the class was doing, so we went our separate ways. The class decorations were done for the most part, and it was supposed to be a yakisoba shop, but it had somehow turned into a family restaurant instead. Floor desks were set up with white lacy tablecloth. On top of them were ring menu pouch. When a customer would order rings, someone would go to the vending machine and buy the cans, then pour the rings into the disposable cups. I grew when I saw that 100% red juice was on the menu as well. Not only that, but manager's recommendation was written in it.
店長って誰だよ。
When I went into the kitchen, I discovered that it was exactly as I'd left it.
あ、どうし
Reggie suddenly came flying out from my blind spot.
どっからそんなことほら、前夜祭が
お前、ここ。
俺ほら
So he said, but in the end he picked up a knife and went to work as well.
さあな。
Reggie shoved up an onion with incredible speed. How could he do that without tearing up?
彼女かわいいな。性格も良さ
ごしん。あいつのか。
I somehow finished just before 6 and headed to the gym. There are definitely a lot of people, but it wasn't so packed that I couldn't get through. We pushed our way through and moved up to the front. The principal was already on stage giving his speech about the importance of the festival. Before long, his ceremonial speech ended and the festival events began. The event went as planned. I thought the comedy were recalled, but it was surprisingly funny. The gym shook with laughter. The magic show was pretty basic. What with the bringing out of flowers, doves, dog, etc. They didn't forget the typical rabbit from a head gag though, and the audience laughed a bit. Everyone watching intently. Soon enough, the opening ceremony events were halfway done, and a famous band stirred up the audience with Copy, not so well-known heavy metal and other songs.
さてと、俺もそろそろライブの準備に。
ああ、頑張れよ。
As Reggie left, the next band began setting up. Reggie's band would perform after this one. Since I had a bit of time, I went to go to the restroom in the gym. But while people were waiting outside of it, my bedroom was urgently full, so I left for the toilet that was farther up. The sky was completely dark now. Normally, I wouldn't be here at this time of night, but I was excited about the concert. The rock hall was illuminated with fluorescent light. I got a strange, uplifting feeling just from looking there. After relieving myself, I walked back the way I came and spotted a girl with braids, walking as though she didn't have a care in the world.
お下げ。
Osage! I hadn't meant to shout, but in the silent nightfall, my voice resounded clearly.
トシキ先輩。
She turned around sharply, her breath almost wiped against her face, but she controlled the twist of her delicate neck.
お前にお下げマスターの称号を与えよ
会うなり突然なんで。
う。実はそのお下げ、
私は何者。
格闘ゲームかなんかの登場キャラクター。
いや、そんな設定。
それじゃ
普通の夢見るしょ。普通が一番難しいんで。
そうだな。確かにお前。
トシキ先輩。なんで。
While we'd been arguing, it had begun to get noisy in the direction of the gym. Apparently, the next band had started. She noticed as well.
ボーイのライブ、もうすぐですね。
そうだ。レイジ張り切っていたから。はい。ところで、
なんで。
お前って友達少ないだろう。いつも一人。
トシキ先輩も。
俺。
それに、昔からのお友達。
じゃあ。
それは。
うわ。
そういうトシキ先輩も本当は他人が苦手なんじゃないんです。レイジ先輩と話しているとき、他のボーイのメンバーとはほとんど話していませんでしたし、当たらず ともどうか。
I think that I was slightly surprised at my own answer. She gave a satisfied smile.
私たち似た者同士ですね。
お下げなんかと一緒にするなよ。
お下げは関係ないです。
黙れお下げ。チビ。
チビってほど小さくないです。
童顔。
赤く見えていいじゃないです。
メガネ、そばかす、猫耳。
全部ないです。って猫耳。
As we argued, we arrived at the gym. Our music drifted to our side of the door. It was very hot inside.
トシキ、水菜ちゃんも一緒か。よかった。見つかって。
Isana ran up from behind breathless.
レイジ、どうしたんだ。ライブの。
それどころ、香川が倒れて今。
なんだって。
あいつ、どうやら風邪をひい。今思えば、昨日の練習も早く帰った理由は
それで、もう。
なあ、俺たちと歌ってくれないか。水菜ちゃんの歌は昨日聞いたし、俺たちの演奏とも一度合わせている。だからひと夏の夢一曲だけでいい。お願いだ。
おい、ちょっと待てよ。香川はそれでな。
自分が歌えずにライブができないの。
でも
With a complicated expression on her face, she looked down. She seemed to have lost all her self-confidence.
私緊張しちゃって歌詞とか。
カンペとかないのか。
今からだと。でもこれが最後のライブなんだ。それに前夜祭の大鳥が決。
Just then, the gym machine went silent for an instant. And right as the next song began to play, she opened her mouth.
わかりました。私なんかでよければ。
お、それじゃあ早速。
Reggie puts her and led her away into the gym.
お下げ、レイジ。
I went inside as well and looked for a good spot to watch from. Moving around and dropped through a large crowd with only the stage lighting to light my way was really hard. Plus, the indoor heat was overpowering, and I really doubted that the air conditioning had any effect at all. By the time I made it to a good position in front of the stage, the music performance had ended. The curtain closed swiftly and the lights came on. Next, the stage would belong to Boy. Will Mizuna sing the song properly? Will Reggie or any of the other band members make a mistake? Thinking about those thoughts just waiting like that was irritating.
お待たせいたしました。次の演奏はボーイです。3曲をお届けする予定でしたが、諸事情により1曲のみの演奏。それでは前夜祭最後の曲。皆様。
When the announcement ended, the lights dimmed once more. Everyone fell silent, all their attention focused on the stage. As the slow, sorrowful piano melody began to play, the curtain slowly rose. Some people recognized Red Eye's famous song and began to cheer. At once, the audience ran up expectantly. The clear voice hit its mark. The owner of that voice, her eyes went like small waves. The girl singing that sad song on stage seemed to have become a different person. She continued singing with her eyes closed the entire time. In such a fleeting moment, everyone was lost in her sorrowful voice. So yeah, actually if you watch this scene carefully, Mizuna actually took off her braid for this concert. So yeah, that's why she looks quite different. Let's post this on Twitter as well. This is one of the Before I realized the song was successfully completed and my worries disappeared. But I was mesmerized by the girl on stage. It felt like if I took my eyes off her just for a moment, she would disappear. It was the same feeling as losing one's way in a dream. She was wondrous. The performance ended, but nobody made a sound or a movement. Then she opened her eye for the first time and lowered the mic, smiling.
ありがとう。
Even though she didn't say it into the mic, her small voice mysteriously resonated throughout the room. Somebody applauded, and just like that, the crowd smelled into thunderous applause. The girl instead stood red to the tips of her eyes at the loud applause. The band member exchanged high fives. Before long, the audience shouting became calls for an encore. It was obvious that she was flustered at this unexpected request, saying that Regina offered to her and talk. Then he gathered the other member and they exchanged a few words. With a nod, they returned to their positions. She became serious too, getting back in the mood and shedding her nervousness. Smiling, she said.
それじゃあアンコールに答えてもう一曲歌っちゃいます。
The crowd went wild. This time a light melody began. In the overture, the speed picked up. I wonder if she would be surprised at the high tempo. But without skipping a beat, she began to sing. It was just like when we argued earlier. Halfway through, she forgot the lyrics for a moment, but other than that, the song ended with a great jump from the band and the audience. And just like that, the opening ceremony ended safely with a loud cheer and the lowering of the curtains. She smiled and fixed her braids. After the ceremony ended, we paid a visit to Kagawa in the infirmary and invited Brady to talk in our classroom. The other members of Boy took Kagawa home.
でも本当に香川さんの代わりに
気にするな。香川だってお礼を言っていただろ。それにボーイはこれで終わりじゃ。確かに高校では最後のライブだったかもしれない。だからもちろん香川。
Reggie was sitting on the table smiling. I didn't know what to say, but he just kept talking, smiling the whole time. I guess you could call that a success.
それに絶対に香川よりも水菜ちゃんが歌った方が盛り上がったよ。
そんなことないですし。
まあお下げらしく2曲目は歌詞。
だってあれレッドアイのファーストアルバムの中に入ってる曲最近聞いてなかったから
え？
はい？私
水菜ちゃん、あの曲先月にシングルカットされた。チャートにもまだ入っているし。
ああ、だからあの曲聴いて。
お前は
なんだ俺は
それ。
でもそれ偉いぞお下げ。
I thought went down her braids.
痛いですよ突然
It was almost 10. The teacher had begun to make the rounds, telling students to go home.
さあ、明日もこの調子で最後の。
お下げはもう1年あるけどな。いや、わかっ。レイジの場合。
なんだよ。お前だって。
んだと。
それ。
Reggie sat on the desk. Brady was watching her exchange with a smile, but I didn't miss that sad look in her eyes. Her eyes wandered to the door and stayed there. I thought the teacher was coming back and turned to look. But instead it was the white cat there, looking right at us. Once again it was holding something in the mouth.
ミルクそれ私
She approached the cat. The thing the cat held in its mouth was out of even a snowman keychain.
あれ
It should have been my first time seeing it, but for some reason I got a feeling of deja vu. Brady reached out and the cat jumped just out of her reach and ran off.
すみません私ちょっと
I thought she ran off in the direction of where the cat had gone.
こうやって
今さもともとそう一人でいるのが
なんだお前と似たような子だ。
似たような。
お前だって他人が苦手なお前と似た。そうお前らはお似合い。
ほらバカ言ってないで。
照れるな。この西原礼二全力を持って
俺なんかの心配より自分の心配しろって。
So yeah, why do the protagonist always distance? It's obvious that he like her, right?
俺のトシキなきな約束したかなんか知らないけど、そんないるかいないかわからない女をいつまでも。
おいなんで俺が。
じゃあ他人が苦手なお前がな。
もうなんだって。 ほら、
テレやっぱり
そんな
またまただ。
気持ち。
And that's the end of the second day. When we go to the last day, I think, third day. And this is the finale of this game, so I really recommend seeing through. It's really good. Finally, day of the festival, a fireworks shot from the school grounds at 10 in the morning.
予定
So yeah, protagonist will be making yakisoba in the morning. None was our busy shift with a lot of customers. In the end, Reggie did most of the cooking and help in dishing up the food. He wiped his brow and looked at the clock. Looking into the classroom from the kitchen, I spotted someone half the size of everyone else and running glasses coming in.
いらっしゃい。しのい。
こんにちは、菅井さん。忙しいで。
時間的にはこれから今。
Smiling a little, she sat down and empty seat.
それじゃあゆっくりしていってね。
A classmate came to take her order and I returned to the kitchen. It was almost time to change shifts.
なんか教室。
Looking at the room, I saw at least 10 buff-looking guys.
どうやらと
And then the order arrived in the kitchen.
マジか。
There were close to 50 tally marks on the order sheet. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Shinui looking, but obviously, I don't really have to call out to her.
どれ一気に10人前作るから鍋は2つあるから盛り付けと
As soon as we finished, there was a loud thud from outside and we heard several screams.
廊下としき
Stepping outside, I didn't want to believe my eyes. The number sign we put on the entrance of our door had fallen, and lying right under it was a girl I recognized all too well.
しのい。
The other strong boys came out, seeing the situation, they quickly and hurriedly put the head sign back in their rigid spot.
しのい、大丈夫か。
Seeing her way through the crowd, Kahlua came rushing over.
しのり痛いどこ
とにかく保険。
Did I miss an option somewhere? I think we shouldn't have come to this road.
熱は今朝下がったみ悔しいあと1日早く下が
How should I keep her glasses on after a fall like that? I realized that I'd never seen her without glasses on before.
どこが痛い。
I looked at her left hand and noticed something strange about it. Shinoi's small hand, her index finger was twisting in the wrong way. Joint wasn't limp like when she finished playing the piano. This had to be a broken bolt. We got to the infirmary and set her down on the bed. Doctor decided that they had to take her to the hospital as soon as possible and ran to get the car.
としき
Okay, so actually, I think this is another branching point. And I'll leave it to Kagawa to get to our main heroine's road, Hazuki-Mizuna. And hopefully, we got to the true end.
レ
We were finally changing shift, but I'd been in the room for such a long time. In the midst of rush, I looked to see if she came by, but I didn't see anyone resembling her. Customer came in and heard a girl's voice. She came in calling loudly, waving and walking in my direction. Kinda embarrassing.
遅かったな。
なかなか抜け出せな
Smiling bitterly, she sat down.
約束通り
そんな。
としきくんの彼女
A girl wearing an apron over her uniform came over and took her order.
ああ。今日だけそういう。
設定約束
約。
The girl taking order watched our exchange with a questioning look. It was getting a bit embarrassing, so I told her to order something.
まあそれはとも。
She looked at the drink menu, troubled as to what to get.
どれにしようかな。
とりあえずそのおすすめだけはおすすめできない。
モロヘイヤ 100%。これって飲み物。
結論から言うとこの世にあってはならない。
でも妙に
She somehow managed to overcome her curiosity and ended up ordering an orange juice.
としきせ
そうなあ、焼きそばは俺が作る。
The drink group left for the vending machine straight away. The girl who stopped taking orders earlier was looking at us, smiling, and whispering with another worker. Just as I thought, doing something like this in my own classroom was not to be embarrassing.
それじゃあ2人分作ってくるからちょっと待っ。
楽し
Instead of the hard confusion of before, the people in the kitchen were just chatting and cutting vegetables. I went in and began making 2 servings of yakisoba, like Reggie had showed me a couple of days ago. I knew exactly what to do from watching his intense cooking earlier and managed to make it perfectly.
お待たせいたし。
み。おいしい。
I placed the dish in front of her, the burrito flakes crackling, the juice was already set at table.
おい、ちょっと待て。なんで俺のグレープフル。
あれ
In the corner of the room, the drink group was looking at my reaction and grinning.
測られた。
それってそんなにまずい。
激。
私まだこれ飲んで
本当に
いいですよ。ちょっと飲んでみたい。
I hadn't drunk or eaten anything since this morning, so I was really thirsty. I didn't even want to think about drinking that hard.
悪い。ここは怒っ。
はい。
I saw 2 or 3 more mouthfuls. I felt sick just watching.
それじゃあいただき。
She broke her chopsticks neatly, mixed in the bonito flakes, and brought the noodles to her mouth.
なんかもろ。
ほんとこ
作り方は
れレイジ先輩って
か恐ろしく。
I ate my yakisoba, slowing my pace to match hers. Once in a while, I noticed my classmates looking at us, but I took my time and enjoyed it. As her plate emptied, I noticed the green liquid lessening as well.
そろそろ出ましょうか。
We paid and headed out to the hall.
さすがに廊下は暑いですね。
飯食った。
としき先輩はどこか行きたい。
特にはない。
それじゃあブラブラといろんな教室。
その手はな。
なんだって
嫌だ。
ああひどい。
だからなんでそんな恥ずかしいことしなきゃいけないんだよ。
いいじゃないですか。今日は
As she shot a grin at me, her breath did little lip.
恋人同士が手をつないでいても恥ずかしくないですよ。
お下げと手をつなぐこと。
I grabbed her hand and walked quickly.
としき先輩、これじゃ恋人同士じゃなくさながら警官に現行犯逮捕された泥棒さんみたいじゃないです。
I didn't know how couples normally felt or anything, but the time I was spending with her went by quickly. Sometimes we teased each other and didn't know what we were at, and others we were at each other's throats. There was no fighting it, but I had no problem being with her.
としき先輩、
She suddenly stopped next to me.
ちょっとどこかで休みません？
She looked a bit pale.
おいおい、大丈夫かよ。
大丈夫。ちょっと暑さに。
I took the unsteady girl's hand and we walked down the sunlit hallway. Before long, I sat her down on a bench where we could see the vending machine.
あれ
The moment she sat down, for some reason, I felt like I was seeing the bench through her. Was it normal to say you saw someone look transparent? I was probably just tired as well.
何か飲むか。
少し休めば。
I sat down next to her. There were many people around getting drinks. But I did recognize one passerby. Reggie noticed us as well.
ようと
私の顔に何かついていますか？
いや、水菜ちゃん、顔色悪いけど大丈
He said her name strangely and his voice seemed hesitant.
大丈夫ですよ。ちょっとだけ。
そうか。でもその状態で人気の大変なこと。
He looked at me with a suppressed laugh.
私も気をつけて。
用心することに越し。
お前ら。
As I sat there, Reggie kicked at me.
おっ
I nudged it swift.
と、それじゃ。
Once again, he stopped talking when looking at her. He was probably thinking about calling her by her proper name.
人の名前を忘れるなんて失礼なやつだ。
I said, intending to get back at him for earlier.
そんなことないぞ。水菜ちゃん。それじゃあ気をつけてな。
Reggie took off almost as if he was trying to escape.
としき先輩、私たちもそろそろ行きます。
まだ顔色よ。
それよりもまだ行っていないクラスに行かないと今日が終わってしまいますよ。
そういえばお前のクラスに
行くんだ。自分たちでどこに何が出てくるか分かり、それにちょっと私
恥ずかしいって
だってあととしき先輩なんか全然。
確かにそれは言ってみなくても予想がつく。
ですよね。
でもお前確か昨日は怖さに自信があるとか。
あれは言葉の
でもまあ教室内は涼しいんだろ。ちょっと涼みに行こう。
それだったらどこの教室。
まあまあ。
Crumbled the dejected sounding girl at me. Outside class to see, dry ice or something like that was spreading a white haze in the hallway, making the area around feel cooler. As we went inside, I noticed that the director was definitely cooler compared to outside.
これは冷房。
そういえば設定温度を
下げすぎだ。
そうですね。
ほら
これは出番少ないと辛いです。
お前も午前中は
もちろんサボっちゃいました。
さっきはなかなか
そうで気のせいですよ。
お前でも自分のクラスにいても
たまたまで
一人でいるのが好きだとか言って
だからたまたまです。本当に仲のいい友。それにそんなこと
たまたま
つまり
って
あれ話しているうち
まあ驚かせようと出てきたやつら。
わかっ
これでまたお前
余計なお世話です。
Hello, Yuri Damaki. By the time we'd visited all of the class, the sun had begun to flow into the halls from the west.
そろそろ学園祭も終わりですね。
Afterwards, we gathered trash from the class to burn at the grounds. The campfire would be built based on the garbage. It was a school tradition.
高野祭までは時間が空きますね。
普通はクラスの片付けをして開かない。お前それもサボる気だろ。
So like at this point, we're starting to see some abnormality from our heroine, Hazuki Mizuno. Like the protagonist Toshiki said that she went transparent for a while, and his friend Reiji also forgot her name. So yeah, it's starting to build up.
バレちゃいました。それよりもこの時間で
俺も
With me in tow, Brady climbed the stairs to the roof. The moment she opened the door, a bright orange glow came shining in and I had to squint.
眩しい。
She held a hand to her eyes as she got used to the light. Directly opposite the roof, a world made of red-orange gradient spread out in all of its glory.
私、去年の学園祭には出られなかったんですよ。
She was talking with her hands on the usual fence.
学園祭前にちょっとドジしちゃって事故っちゃったんですよ。 せっかく楽しみにしていたんですけどね。気がついたらいつの間にか学園祭は終わっていました。
She was smiling as she spoke. The setting sun dyed her eyes red, but the sadness in her eyes was not concealed.
私、学園祭を楽しみにしていたんですよ。この学校に入るずっと前から。
ずっと前から？
はい、ずっと前からです。ずっと前から、ずっと。
She seemed to be choosing her next words carefully. She was bathed in the westerning sun. For a brief moment I thought her outline of her body seems to waver and grow transparent.
トスキ先輩は初恋の人との約束がどんなものだったか覚えていますか？
約束。実はよく覚えていないんだ。この学校で何かをしようって感じだと思ったんだけど、覚えていない。もしかしたら学校も間違えていたりしてな。
Just
ただ
oh,
その子に会えば全部思い出せると思って。ただその子に一度会いたくてこの学校に来た。でもバカなりに勉強してやっとの思いで入ったのはいいけど、その子の名前すら覚えていないから探しようもなく、結局今まで引きずったままなんだよな。
私は覚えていましたよ。
え？
その女の子との約束は、この学校で再会して学園祭の最後に行われるキャンプファイヤーで一緒に踊ろうってものだったはずです。その女の子は父親が転勤して一度遠くに引っ越しちゃったんですよね。それ以来男の子とは別れ離れ。でもその女の子は中学に入学する頃にはまたこの町に戻ってきていた。男の子の名前を忘れていなかった女の子は同じ学校にいるはずの男の子を探した。でも見つからなかった。見つかるはずなかったんですよ。なぜなら女の子は男の子が同い年だと思い込んでいたから。女の子は約束の男の子のことを実は一つ上の先輩だと気がついたのが中学2年生の時の卒業式。その時に女の子は卒業証書を受け取る男の子を見つけるんです。そして女の子は男の子が約束を守っていることを信じて海なり高校に入学したんです。そして女の子はついに男の子を見つけることができました。でも男の子が約束を覚えているなんて限らない。廊下ですれ違うことも何度かあっても、基本的に一人が好きな内気な女の子には声をかけることもできませんでした。
おい、ちょっと待てよ。なんでその女の子は男の子のことが分かったんだよ。覚えていた名前だって間違っていたかもしれないだろう。
名前を間違えることはありません。だって女の子は幼い頃男の子と別れる前にプレゼントをもらっていたんです。
So she's actually the girl that made the promise with the protagonist
プレゼント？
all this time.
雪だるまのキーホルダー。真夏にその男の子は季節外れのキーホルダーを女の子にプレゼント。そのキーホルダーは少し大きくて小物入れになっているんです。そこに男の子は女の子に約束を書いた手紙を入れておいたんですよ。菅井俊樹って名前入りの汚い文字で書く。びっくりしました？
びっくりというか、ごめん。よくわからない。
話がいないですね。
つまり、お前があの時の約束の…
淡々と言わないでください。感動の場面ですよ、ここ。
そっか。俺もどこかで同級生が約束の女の子だと思い…
俊樹先輩、誕生日いつですか
？9月13日だな。
私、5月8日なんですよ。でも、先輩は多分、私より1年早く。でも、昔会った頃は…
それならそうと、 なんでもっと早く言ってくれなかったんだよ。2日前に屋上で会った時にでも話してくれてよかったんじゃないか。
ここで終わればハッピーエンドなんですけどね。このお話にはまだ続きがあるんですよ。
She said that her eyes watching the setting sun looked at the saddest they had ever met. That eyes. Why did her eyes look like that? If we kept on talking, I had the feeling she would answer that question, but I was afraid of the answer. The reddish light was slow and it shone through her onto me. Through her?
その女の子はキーホルダーを通学カバンにつけていました。一人が好きな少女にも昔からの友達がいます。その友達は昔からこの学校に住み着いていて、女の子が幼い頃、友達もキーホルダーがお気に入りで、その友達には放課後になると女の子を誘うように入学して3ヶ月が経ったある日、前夜祭の前の日にはそして約束を果たす。
おい、待てよ。それ以上は話す。
It was an illusion. I could see the fence through her. A fence with a section broken. A female student that died falling last year. A girl in front of me with sad eyes, setting sun passing through her. I had a horrible feeling. Suddenly, an simple thought was forming in my mind. Everything before my eyes was like a dream, but it wasn't a dream. Waking up early, coming to school, starting a festival, making yakisoba, eating it with her, enjoying the festival together. This couldn't be a dream. So then, what was happening right before my eyes? It was like when she had been singing a dream of summer. She had her eyes closed the same way.
いつの間にかそこは女の子にもお気に入りの場所になっています。その日は学園祭の3日前、クラスの準備でいつもより遅い時間。その日は今日のようにいつものように手をフェンスにかけて夕日を見ようとした瞬間。
やめろ。
Before this, I had shouted.
じゃあなんだよ。お前は1年前に死んでいて、今のお前は幽霊かなんか。そんな話信じられるかよ。
信じられなくてもいいんです。もうすぐここにいる葉月みずなという女の子、としき先輩は忘れてしまうんですから。
こんな話忘れられるはずないだろ。
忘れるんですよ。これは夢なんですから。とっても悲しい夢。でもそんな夢でも女の子は約束の男の子と会えて幸せだったんです。約束は果たせなかったけど、女の子は男の子と再会できて話し合えただけで嬉しかったんですよ。
何わけわからない。
これでさよならです。
It changed into light, and her body melted to pure blackness. The moment I closed my eyes in that blinding light, I fell from the world of light into darkness, and saw her tear-stained, smiling face disappear. So the date says that it's 16th of July. I think it went back to the first day, if I remember correctly. What happened my day last night? So like I've been sleeping for days and I can't remember anything. Sorry, I don't even know what day it was. Sleepily, I erased my thought and looked at the calendar.
そっか。 今日は前夜祭の前日だ。
So it looked back to the beginning of the game, right? Mm. Mm. And I went on to the second day. Day of the festival, I did as usual and carefully cut off the vegetable that would go into tomorrow's yakisoba. Halfway through, I got tired of it and sneaked away. I watched the other classroom get ready and read the program pamphlet for the opening ceremony, killing time before it began.
あれ
Thirsty, I found myself in front of the vending machine, but before I knew it, I bought 2 cans.
なんでオレンジジュースなんて買ったんだ
Too late, I already wrote it. Sitting on the bench nearby, I processed to drink both of them. For some reason, the stairs nearby caught my eyes. I couldn't seem to remember where they went. I've never been up the stairs before, so with too much extra time and nowhere to go, I decided to go up. I stopped one step before reaching the landing on the top floor. There was a chain blocking off the way with a sign telling everyone to stay out. Looking up, I could see a door but nothing else. Probably let out the door. I decided that this was no place to kill time number. So yeah, just like the hearing said, just like Mizuna said, it's all just a dream. I went back to the class and used the rest of time to prepare the vegetables.
おうトシキ、ちゃんと仕込み。
まったく。
まあまあ。
Soon after we reached the gym, the ceremony began, program went on well, and soon it was Reggie's turn. When Reggie left to get ready for his concert, I had to go to the bathroom. The restroom near the gym was packed, so I headed to one that was further off.
はあ、すっきり。
To my relief, I retraced my steps back down the hall. But there was a sudden strange feeling in my chest. And having to meet deja vu flashed recently. Even if that was the case though, why did I feel such a strong feeling of loss? I had to remember. But why?
トシキ、
Reggie came running to me from the direction I've been heading.
大変だ。香川さっき風で倒れて。
え
I could tell from his serious expression that he wasn't kidding.
今保健室に運んで。
それじゃあ今日のライブは
香川のやつは誰か代わりに歌ってくれる人がいるなら自分のことは。
I didn't know anyone skilled enough to sing in public without rehearsing. I shook my head.
そうだよな。しかもお前みたいな友達少なく、しかも女も作らないような男がそんな人材を知っているはずないよ。
To show that he was composed and calm, he spoke sarcastically. But something about those words got me.
友達が少ないやつ。
どうした？心当たりが？
いや、誰かいたような気がするん。誰だったか。一人でいるのが好きだとか暗いこと言っ。
なんだよそれ。お前みたいなやつ。
誰が俺みたいだよ。あんなお酒と一緒にするな。
Brady? Who was Brady? I desperately searched for it. I desperately reached for it. I was so close, but I just couldn't grasp it. Annoyed with myself, I let out a shout.
ああ、ダメだ。思い出せない。くそ。
I punched the wall. Reggie stood still, watching me about to attack the wall again.
おい、どうしたんだよ。わかったからやめろ。
思い出せないんだよ。何か大切なことを
前に言っていた初恋のことの約束のこと。それなら前から忘れてお。とにかく落ち着く。な。
Reggie patted me lightly on the back. When my breathing returned to normal, I checked my sore right hand and slumped to the ground. The promise with my first love? No, it was true that I couldn't remember what the promise was. But that wasn't what I was trying to remember right now.
ごめん。それどころじゃない時に俺が取り乱して。
大丈夫。
ああ、ちょっと頭が混乱しただけ。病院行って調べて。
バカなこと言うなって。学園祭の準備と最近の暑さにちょっとやられただけ。今日はもう帰ってゆっくり休めよ。本番は明日なんだ。
しばらくここで
それじゃ。
じゃあな。
Probably still worried about my condition, he looked over his shoulder at me before going into the gym. Still confused, I sat there staring at the hallway. I took a deep breath and calmed down. What did I expect to remember? Was it something I didn't need to remember? Or would it be better if I didn't remember? Was that why I couldn't remember in the first place? In the gym, people were rocking to the climax of the concert. I got up and left. Somehow I felt like I was an outcast from this world. Nevertheless, I was still desperately trying to remember when I headed to the entrance. On the way, I looked out the window and felt an odd sensation of looking at the coast from the roof. But when I looked up, there was just a pale moon growing deeply, as it should.
やっぱり疲れているのかな。
Without thinking further, I headed home. If I didn't think, I probably wouldn't have to worry. The humid night wind blew, carrying the faraway cheers from the school behind me. And finally, we reached the day where Mizuna disappeared.
もう学園祭は始まっている。ほら、厨房に。
My mind was in a haze, but I moved my body according to Regi's direction. Fortunately, the customer came in gradually, making it easier for us. And if there weren't any customers at all, I got to take a nap.
なあ。ちょっと騒がしくないか。
I looked at the class from the kitchen and saw there were at least 10 buff-looking boys there. So yeah, it's repeating just like the last time we got into this day.
おいおい、あいつら一人で何食だ。
ここを乗り切れ。
Reggie cooked like a madman and I chopped the food and watched the walk. He would use the other walk as I watched the first one, we repeated that in cycles. It was 2 weeks into summer vacation. The hot sun of early August mercilessly shone down on me. I wasn't even doing anything, and I was still sweating. I was on an unfamiliar street, looking around in confusion. Caught up in a moment, I hurriedly crossed the street. I walked past an unknown store and the house, not remembering any of the streets.
どうしよ
I wanted to cry, but I was thirsty and continued to wander around, looking for something to drink. I finally found a vending machine and dug in my pockets for money. With the cola safely in hands, I chucked it as I walked. Before long, I was in front of a huge school. Minari Koto High was written out on the front.
海なんとか高等学校
Out my laugh, I couldn't read it. As I was about to leave, I saw a girl about my age ahead of me. She was facing white and had short, slightly red hair, and was wearing a sleeveless white dress. Her skin was pale almost to the point of transparency.
ミルク、今日も遊ぼう。
She was squatting and it seemed like she was talking to something. I approached her wondering what it was. Beneath her dress, I thought I saw something white moving around, and just like that, it ran past me and disappeared into the school.
ミルクが逃げた。
She turned to chase the cat, but in her hurry, she stepped on her dress. Her cries echoed pitifully as she fell.
うん
Without thinking, I called to her.
大丈夫。
So yeah, this is the flashback of the protagonist meeting with Mizuna for the first time during their childhood. She stood up, holding her arms with tears in her eyes.
それよりも、ミルク逃げちゃった。
Milk was the white cat that was friend with Mizuna.
さっきの白いやつか
私の友達。昔から
友達もしかしてお前友達少ないだろ
She said it vehemently, but the tears in her eyes betrayed her.
うわ、腕水かなんかで洗いな。この辺に
It seemed that her name is Mizuno Hazuki. She lived in the area and came to the school often to play. No wonder she didn't have a lot of friends. I forgot everything else and played with Mizuno all day. At length, the sun began to set and she had to go home.
としきくん、明日も遊ぼうね。
She said shyly, walking away.
俺も帰ろう。
I said, but as I set off, I remembered. How do I get home? In the end, I had to ask a police officer and called home for my father to come pick me up. I thought I'd gone pretty far, but it turned out that I wasn't far from home after all. After that, I came to the same street every day and played with the girls who waited in front of the school.
この学校なんて言うんだ。
海なり高等学校だ。
へえ。
ここの学校ね。それがすっごくも食べ物屋さんからそれと前夜祭って言って学園夜にやるから私は直接見たことないんだけど、その日
I could see from the way her eyes sparkled that she was really excited.
私は
俺は音楽の授業の時
And so actually, this dream of her to sing in front of people have already come true.
音楽なんて将来あんなの一生懸命。
それはそうかもしれないけど、そうだ、私は
じゃあお前がその体育館で大勢の前で歌って感動させたの
And she did exactly just that.
絶対大勢の前でなんて。
目を閉じて歌えば人の目なんて気にならなくなるんじゃないか。
And this is also the reason why Mizuno closed her eyes when she sang earlier, right?
そんな恥ずかしいことしたくないよ。あとね、学園祭の最後には
へえ。
We continued playing every day, and in the blink of an eye, the end of summer vacation began to approach.
としきくん、
なんだよ。なんだよ。
It took a while for her to stop crying and calm down. It seemed that her dad was moving for work and they had to move somewhere far away.
でもいつかは帰ってくれるって言ってた。だから
Even though her words were cheerful, she looked really sad.
それじゃあお互い高校生になったらこの学校にそうすればまた。
And so the promise were made.
その時は
学園祭の最後に一緒に踊ってくれる？
一緒に。あれは全員。
でも隣はとしきくんがいいんだ。だから一緒に踊ろうよ。
ああ、踊ってやる。
絶対だよ。約束したよ。
ああ。
And that's the promise of the girl. After that, we enjoyed our last day. In the middle of it, we stopped at the stationery store and bought a paper and pencil.
それで何するの？
約束を忘れないようにこうやってどうしなんでとにかく
I finished writing it, but I wanted to put it in something. Then the accessory case corner caught my eye. She picked one up.
なんだ雪だるま。
ほらほら、これ中が開いて
それじゃあそれ
I gave the money and minutes to scrap together to the old lady behind the counter. Then I put the letter in and handed it to her right away.
ほら。
としきくんは
俺はこれくらいの約束絶対に忘れないから大丈夫だ。ほんだ。
I put the off-season snowman keychain into her pale hand.
また
俺、
やっぱり寝不足だったんだろう。この俺。まったく、香川といい、お前といい。泣いても笑っても学園祭もこれで最後だ。お前も誰かとマイムでも踊って。
He was sitting as usual, but his words made me remember the dream I just had.
そうだ、約束。一緒に。
もうな、実はちゃっかりと。
その子と。
それじゃあ早くその子を探さないと学園祭が終わって約束も果たせないな。よし、後片付けなんて明日でもできる。約束が思い出せたってことはもしかして名前も思い出したか。
Such a bro.
それなら一緒に
名前は葉月水菜。そう、水菜だ。
葉月水菜。
もしかして知っているのか、レジ。
いや、もしかしたら同姓同名かもしれん。
なんだよ、もったいぶらないでさっさと教え。
去年一つ下の学年の子が屋上から転落死したよな。その子の名前が、いや、俺の記憶違いかもしれん。とにかく
いや、俺一人で探す。
I ran out of the classroom. The sun was almost all the way down. I had a feeling that everything would end when it vanished. There was one more thing I can remember. My mind raced as I ran down the hallway filled with the light of the setting sun. As I passed the classroom, a paper mesh ghost caught my eye. It was at the front of class 2C. Naturally, I didn't know any of the students there as they were all younger. Still, I stopped in front of the room. The student went in and out eyeing me with questioning looks. Before long, a girl with laces came from the class and greeted me. I was about to tell her that I didn't need anything and leave, but then I asked her about a female student named Hazuki Mizuna. She looked troubled and told me she was a classmate that had died falling from the roof last year. In this school, the class stayed the same. So in other words, she was supposed to be in class 2C. The girl told me that she didn't really have a lot of friends, but it wasn't as if anyone hated her. She answered normally if someone talked to her. She had braids and was small, a cute girl. I thanked the girl and left the area. There were students cleaning the gym, and a number of them were working on the stage. The eve of the festival, I had left before Boyd got on stage. Kahlua, the vocalist, wasn't there, but I didn't know what had happened afterwards. I had a strange feeling that there had been a substitute singer for her. A clear voice full of pain filled the room. It was a fleeting moment, but I had been standing on the stage. I went past the gym and ran down the hall once more, and soon found myself in front of the vending machine. Breathing hard, I stopped with my hands on the knees, dripping with sweat. I wanted a cold cola, so I dug in my wallet for some small change. Decided a 100 yen coin fell from my hand and rolled away. I chased the coin and it stopped at the foot of the stairs that led to the roof. I took a breath and headed up the stairs. I passed through the no entry sign and chain standing at the door that supposedly opened to the roof. I tried to open the door, but it was locked and wouldn't budge. I slammed the door with both my hands. The keychain I remember was on the floor right before me.
このキーホルダーはおさげにプレゼントした。
Brady? No, that wasn't the name of the girl I made promise with. But why did I know it? That girl has braids. She was short and slender, but was quite, with quite a chest in comparison. With red eye, could sing really well, liked to be alone, and above all that, always had these sad eyes. I definitely knew her. I'd met her. I met her the day before the festival behind this door. She moved the audience at the concert and at the festival today would go around the school together. The fog obscuring my memories was finally lifting. That's right. I've been separated from her today, right before the ending ceremony began. But she was supposed to have died a year ago, and yet the girl was definitely there in my memories. Inconsistency keeps gushing forth, but I only wanted one thing. I want to see her. Clutching the snowman keychain tightly, I opened the zipper on its back. and it was the letter I put for the girl on that day. I gently took it out and opened the neatly folded letter. How many times had she opened this to look at? There were small holes on the crease, and it was nearly worn out. And there, on the broken piece of paper that was the promise, written messily and full of mistakes. Let's get into the Minari Koto school and dance at the festival together. Toshiki's guy.
ほら、俺絶対になくすなよ。
Main sampai tamat? Iya, ini udah mau tamat.
としきくんは手紙なくていいの？
俺はこれくらいの約束絶対に忘れないから。
本当か
That's right. I still haven't fulfilled that promise. I said that I would never forget what I had. She continued to look for me, still believing that I'd remember. And 1 year ago, the thoughts had stopped. That promise would never be fulfilled. Yes, because she was no longer in this world. But even still, if there's any possibility that behind this door... No, if I thought about the possibility of it, there was none. It was ridiculous that I would think of something like that, and I found it funny. That even if I said that, if there were even the slightest chance, I wanted to try to believe in it. I tried again and pushed the door. Just for the sake of fulfilling one promise. Just one wish. Just one more time. Be on the other side. That was the first thing she would say. I resided in a school for more than 10 years. Recently, this young girl would come talk to me every day. And after a while, she started calling me by that name. She would tell me about the bad things she did, or just complain in general. Ini sudut pandang kucingnya ya. Milk. When was this? The sun was strong. It was during midsummer. I wasn't young then. When I found her in the shed in front of the school, I was sleepy and the heat had put me in a bad mood. So I knocked her and ran off. When I finally noticed there was an unknown boy standing behind her. From that day on, the girl and the boy played together. The two of them possessed the same atmosphere. Then the girl happily talked to me about the time she spent with him. She told me where they went, what they did, and the same things many times. But that couldn't continue for long. One day, she suddenly told me that she was moving, that they wouldn't be able to see each other for a long time. But she said that they had promised to meet up again someday, and showed me a small white bird-shaped object. She strongly thought that she wouldn't be lonely and finally said, "See you," and left. She didn't show up the next day. The boy hung around the school for a few more days, but the thing called summer vacation was ending, and he too never showed himself again. Years and months went by. I stopped leaving the school, my body gradually became slower, and I had no reason to go outside. So I thought that if I could live all the remaining years of my life in peace, I'd be happy. I was passing the time just gazing out of school days as usual that day. When the sunlight was gradually fading, a girl came walking by alone. She never attended school before and was wearing something called a middle school uniform. On her back was that white girl thing. Looking more closely, I realized that it was the girl from a while ago. When she saw me, she came running over, even though she wasn't from the school. As the girl talked to me happily, chattering on how long it had been, I realized she certainly changed body wise, but was the same girl from before. She told me that she would find the boy one day, that somehow they'd misunderstood what years they were in, that the boys were 1 year above her. If the boy remembered the promise, she would definitely come to the school, and finally, she would be under my care. It was the season the sakura bloomed. I occasionally watched the student face. Among them was one I was looking for. He wasn't talking to those around him and didn't seem to be thinking about anything at all. I could tell at a glance that this was the child from before. I couldn't tell if he remembered the promise he'd made with the girls, but he seemed to be concerned about whether or not he came to the school. That's what I thought anyway. Hello again and repeat. Stay tuned, bentar lagi endingnya akan ini akan mengharukan banget. Fore, sorry aku nggak bisa lama-lama ke stream. Fore juga kalau misalkan tertarik, ini bentar lagi ending, aku jamin endingnya bagus banget. 1 year passed and the girl also became a student of this school. But by that time, my age was close to 100 human years, and I was growing weak. Still, after the girl came to the school, I wanted to show her something beautiful, so I forced myself to run those stairs. It was a bit tough for my old body. Ini sudut pandang kucingnya ya, si Milk. Seeing this chance, I led her up to the roof. It was a wonderful place to see the sky and the ocean as one. The girl too came to like this place. From then on, she would talk to me there every time the weather was good. When we'd go to the roof, she would help me and carry me up there. Even though she came to the school though, she didn't meet the boy she waited for so long. It irritated me a little that she didn't talk to anyone, but she was a shy girl. It was like there was nothing to push her forward. Months went by and summer was approaching. The thing called the festival was going to happen at the school soon. The bustling activity was too much for an old one like me, but it seemed that the girl would fulfill the promise with the boy on that day. She told me that she was going to contact the boy the day before the festival. Would he remember her? Would he remember the promise? The girl was so nervous. She was so worried, and yet she never spoke to him. My body was at its limit, but before I died, I at least wanted to see the day her promise would get fulfilled. One day, she stayed late preparing for the festival and brought me to the roof in the evening. When she opened the door, I saw that it wasn't blue as usual, but a world that was spread out in scarlet. She sat me down and went over to the fence. She placed her hands on the fence as usual, and just as she said, "It's beautiful," it happened. With a loud crack, the girl and the fence both fell forward. Almost as if she didn't know what was happening, she took in the red-light world. I looked timidly past the broken fence and saw the poor girl's body. Doing my best with an old body like mine, I dashed down the stairs to where the girl was. Next to where she lay, pulling around her was a red far deeper than the color of the westering sun. The girl suddenly and subtly ceasing movements. The spreading crimson. At that point, most of the students had already left. I could do nothing but cry out. At length, a single teacher came by. Upon seeing the girl, the teacher cried, "Oh no!" and ran back. Soon, loud sirens were wailing, and an ambulance were rushing forward to the school. Students that were still at school noticed the commotion and gathered in the area. The ambulance took her away. After she was gone, I quickly left the area. A little way off, the girl's bag was there. On it was the white keychain. She told me on a winter day that it was called Snowman, and that it was made out of snowball. I shredded the leather keychain string, was on with my teeth, and took on the object in my mouth and left the place behind. For my species, if I could surpass 100 human years, I would become a mythical cat demon. If I didn't want to strongly enough, I couldn't become one. If I were to turn into one, I could use black magic. Probably couldn't bring her back to life, but I might at least be able to carry out her feelings. Wait, what? Didn't expect that. Yeah. There was one warrior until I could. I spent my days just wishing fervently that I would be able to help her. It was only 1 year, but to me it felt like an eternity. From that day on, the path to the roof was chained, and a no entry sign was put up. I placed the keychain in front of the door, hoping. I wanted to grant her wish. What should I do? For an instant, I thought the lights dimmed right before me, and all of a sudden, linear light went right through me. In the next moment, my lid-like heavy body becomes light. I finally turned into a mythical cat. Knowledge of magic surged into me. I knew that if I overused the magic, I would be terminated and would cease to exist in this world. But the loss of my existence would affect no other life than that of the girl. Without hesitating, I looked into my nearly acquired store of knowledge on how to grant her wish. using the strongest magic I possibly could. Then I found it. From the remaining thought of the disease, one's dream could be infused with the reality, and there, the disease could be made to exist. In other words, I could make reality exist within my dreams. Reality was what I dreamed. Wouldn't it? The people there would have to be in my memory to a certain extent in order for it to work. People that had already died could exist, but what had already happened could not be changed. What a nostalgia. Ini fan lama banget ya. Once the dream was over, it would be as if nothing had happened. Memories of the disease would disappear, and they would once again continue with reality. If I used this method, there was no doubt that I would disappear, and above that, the dream would disappear too. And if I used this to resurrect her, would she be happy? It could be that I wanted to do would be cruel to both the girl and the boy. However, I was willing to make the gamble. It was the eve of the festival. I closed my eye and realized the spell. The girl's thoughts within the keychains were 10 times more than enough. From that, I formed her. This location also reverted to the way it was a year ago. The new entry sign disappeared and the door unlocked. The girl herself knew that she was created. She understood that it was just a fleeting dream. She also noticed that I was putting my own life on the line for her, but also for my own sake. Still, she said to me, "Thank you." How far would this dream go? My magic wouldn't be able to last that long. But if I didn't do this right now, it would be meaningless. If I did this after the boy graduated, her dreams wouldn't come true. And finally, on the roof, the girl and the boy would finally meet again. At the moment, the boy was off buying drinks. On seeing him, the girl broke down in tears. Her happiness faded before long, and she wept for her own fate. Not wanting him to see her crying face, she went back up to the roof. Time passed. The festival was over, and the festival was about to begin. Everything depended on this day. If I wanted to graduate using this spell, it would have to be after this day. The girl would enjoy that day with the boy, but during the middle of it, I could feel my sense gradually fading. The spell had already gone on too long, but I wanted to at least finish this day. And despite everything, the girl began to disappear from everyone's memories. However, the only one that hadn't forgotten her was the boy. It was on the evening, sun by the roof. With my fading consciousness, I watched the two of them. The girl spoke openly to the boy about the past. That she was the girl in their promise. That the promise was to dance together on the last night to the festival. That what he was saying was nothing but a dream. And that when he woke up from this dream, he would forget that she had ever existed. My species floated the idea of our master seeing us die. That girl was like a master to me. I left the roof to find my death path and descended the stairs. I definitely done something cruel to her. In the end, she hadn't been able to fulfill her promise. Cat demons always have existed to cause catastrophe for humans. After all, cat demon is cat demon. I wasn't meant to create happiness for any human. However, I still had one wish, and that was no other than the boy's desire. The boy was still tied into my spell. His love for the girls continued, and he yearned for her. Through his sentiments, he might be able to pull her out from this dream and hold on to this fable existence. From my irresponsible and egoistic dream, I would leave it to him to determine the girl's happiness. No, in the very end, the person who decided would have to be herself. I wish for the two of them to wake in happiness. A crimson world was spread out. Between the undistinguishable horizon of the sky and the ocean, the light of the spring sun, and me. She was crying.
としき先輩
Her shadow overlapped onto me.
あれ私まだ消えていないのとしき先輩私が見えるの私を覚えているの
何わけわからないこと言ってるんだよ。
I didn't quite understand the situation myself. She had said goodbye to me, disappearing into the lot. I opened the door I couldn't open earlier and came here. I couldn't understand what had just happened up until now, but none of that mattered. I rushed to her and put my arms around her.
ダメですよ。どうせ私は消えるんです。この世界からも、としき先輩の記憶からも。
俺は頭悪いから今の状況やお前がこの後どうなるかとかはわからないけど、これだけはわかるぞ。お前は今確かにここにいる。ここにいるからお前にこうやって触れることができるし、涙も救ってやることができる。そして何より俺にぬくもりを伝えてくれている。お前のこの温かい体は夢なんかじゃ感じられないだろう。たとえお前が夢だと言っても俺は絶対に信じてやらないからな。
To prove that, I hugged her tightly. Her delicate body trembled a little.
としき先輩。私、どうしていいかわからないです。
じゃあ何も考えるなよ。
Thank you for the comment there. I don't usually speak in English, so yeah, it's actually quite a gibberish English. Please bear with me.
俺たち今日は恋人同士って約束だろ。それと昔に高野祭で一緒に踊る約束もしている。ただ約束を果たすことだけ考えればそれでいい。いつまでも泣いていると高野祭が始まって泣き顔で踊ることになるぞ。
As I said that, her tears kept coming and she pressed her face against my chest.
おいおい、だから泣くなって。
わかってます。でも、これは嬉しくて泣いているんですよ。もう少しだけ思いっきり泣いたら、あとは笑顔でいられますから。もう少しだけ。
それは約束か？
約束です。
How long was it until she stopped crying? The sun was starting to disappear beneath the horizon and we began to be covered in a veil of darkness.
ありがとうございます。もう大丈夫です。
Her eyes were red, but she smiled as she spoke.
としき先輩、一つお願いがあります。
なんだ？
今から名前で呼んでくれませんか？
却下。お前を呼ぶときはお前かお下げで十分。
そんな。
It was just that I found calling girls by their names embarrassing, so I didn't do it. Even with guys, Reggie was about the only one I could casually call out.
それじゃあ、としき先輩。代わりにもう一つお願い事があります。
Shaylee, she put her arms around my neck and stood on her tiptoes.
ちょっとだけでいいですから、かがんでもらえますか？届かないです。
She didn't tell me what, but it wasn't hard to guess what she wanted to do.
何がしたいんだよ。
Even though I knew, I smiled and asked her. It was fun to watch her shaking on her tiptoes, but more than anything, it was adorable.
もう、こんな時にまでからかわないでくださいよ。
Blushing, she pouted. I wanted to be mean again.
ダメ。何がしたいのかがわからないからそのお願いは却下。
Malah sedih.
ひどいです。
Tapi ini mohonnya sangat
力で
bagus.
そんな恥ずかしいこと言わせようとするんですか？
ほらほら、そう強情張ってないで吐いたら楽になるぞ。なんならカツ丼でも食うか？
私は犯罪者ですか？もう、やっぱりとしき先輩は。
俺は？
としき先輩は、やっぱり私の大好きな人です。
なんじゃそりゃ。
わからなくてもいいんです。ただ、自分の中で再確認しただけです。
変なやつ。
Shocked, I lowered my head with my eyes closed and breathed the word. The next instant, I felt her soft lips moving gently, warm against mine. I let my guard down and I back away in surprise, probably making a ridiculous face. Her expression full of laughter, she told me triumphantly.
奪っちゃった。
待て。今のは無効だ。場外だ。
有効ですよ。もしかしたら一本取ったくらいの勢いです。
お前、俺のファーストキスをわけわからんうちに奪い去る。
先輩、意外とそういうこと気にするんですか？
意外には余計だ。
そもそも先輩がなかなか。
She closed her eyes and began to lecture me. This time it was me that snatched away her lips. I held her head firmly with my right arm and hugged her tightly with my left to prevent her from escaping. She breathed softly and looked at me with her sad eyes, but I ignored it and didn't let her break away. Foto dulu. Tete moment. Ini sangat-sangat momen-momen yang sangat terbaik lah. Lanjut. She closed her eyes once more and devoted herself to me. Her sensation, her existence. In order to confirm it again, I pulled her close and we kissed for a long, long time, almost to the point of lightheadedness. There was a sudden bump. Without breaking the kiss, I glanced in the direction of the noise. Fireworks were coming from the grounds, a signal that the closing ceremony was beginning. The sun was gone with only a little bit of the horizon still red. We were surrounded by darkness, with only the rocketing fireworks shining on us. Resonating with heavy rumbles, one light dissolved into many, floating away the dark. At length, our lips separated. She had an intoxicated look in her eyes and was out of breath. I caressed her head and she breathed into my chest, murmuring,
バカ。
Baka.
Kirei 綺麗だね。
She said in a breathy voice, her voice rather than the fireworks echoed in my ears. I brushed her hair gently just once. She looked at me with a questioning face.
Sa, 行こうぜ。水菜。
Ya, akhirnya panggil pakai nama. I stood up and held my hands out to her.
今、水菜って。
Looking out at the grounds, there was no doubt the campfire was being lit.
ほら、早くしないとキャンプファイヤーが燃え尽きるぞ。
She took my hand and got up. Holding hands, we headed to the grounds to fulfill our promise.
お、トシキ。あれ、その隣の子は。
お下げがどうかしたか？
だからお下げじゃないですって。
俺は何ボケてるんだ。水菜ちゃんじゃないか。暗かったからわからなかったんだな。
Even though he said that, Reggie looked confused and went on muttering to himself.
ん？でも俺、トシキと別れてから確か一人で水菜ちゃん。あれ？なんか今日の俺おかしい。
大丈夫だ。お前の頭は常におかしい。
ん？そういうお前。
お前よりは赤点少な。
たく。もしかしたら俺たち、来年は水菜ちゃんと同じクラスにいるかもしれない。
先輩たちみたいな面白い人たちと同じクラスになるのなら、私喜んで応援しちゃいますよ。
やめろおさげ。そういうのは冗談でも言う。
私は本気ですよ。
ああ、そう。ドタバタしていて、前夜祭で香川のやつ歌えなかっただろ。それで後夜祭の終わりに特別グラウンドで俺たちもう一度ライブやることになったんだ。
Okay, it's coming, guys.
最後までいるなら
The ending
見
is
ていってくれ
coming.
な。
香川はもう。
本調子じゃないけど歌えなくはなんだかんだ言ってとにかく歌わないと気が済む。本当にあいつらしいよ。
今度こそ香川さんのひと夏の夢が聞けるんですね。
そうい。
でもグラウンドでやるって近所から苦情が来る。よく学校は OK 出したな。
花火の爆音やキャンプファイヤーに曲をガンガン流し。
それも。
それじゃ俺はまだ教室を片付けていると。としきは気にしなくていいから水菜ちゃんと仲良く踊ってき。
おう、悪いな。
まあお前が片付けると。
He smiled and waved and disappeared down the hall.
レイジ先輩っていい人ですよね。
うん。まあ、そうかもな。
In the middle of the grounds, as the festival ended, non-reusable lumber and decoration would now be used as kindling, and it was the ridiculous large yakisoba sign. With its slowly burning light, the atmosphere of the ending festival rushed through me. The dance had already begun. We entered the circle of people and danced next to each other. From our point of view, it really was like a very long dream, but in comparison, the time we spent together dancing was probably very short. In a short interval of time though, she was dancing happily. Turning and repeating, it wouldn't be strange if this dance went on for eternity. I even wished a little that it would. When the song ended, would she still be there next to me? Would I even remember her in the first place? My thoughts whirled as I looked into the burning flames.
としき先輩。
ん？
いきなりいなくなっちゃうことはないですよ。
悪い。俺から何も考えるなって言ったのに、俺が考えてどうするんだろうな。
When the music ended, everyone there applauded near the end of the festival. An announcement for boys' concert was echoed through the school. Many people, even more than there were at the opening ceremony, gathered to watch the unprecedented final event of the festival.
ついに学園祭も終わりますね。
そうだな。
ライブどこで見ますか？私これだけの人がいるところはちょっと苦手です。
俺も好きでは。
それじゃああそこで聞きましょう。
She pointed to the top of the school.
おいおい。また屋上に登るのかよ。
高みの見物みたいでいいじゃない。
言葉の使い方、間違ってるぞ。
そんなの気にした方が負けです。
はいはい。屋上に行くなら早く行こうぜ。移動してる間にライブが終わってしまったら最悪だぞ。
We held hands again and hurried to the roof. Safe, safe. Side by side, both with one hand on the fence, we watched Bryce's concert. The opening concert didn't even come close to the climax of this one. It was so full of energy. The neighborhood would definitely complain though. I doubt they'd be able to get permission to have outdoor concerts again next year.
香川さん、すごいですね。
あれで病み上がりというか、まだ風邪治っていないんだよな。本当にすごい。あいつ。
そういえば私、前夜祭の時、本当に緊張しました。
お前も2曲目は今の香川みたいにはしゃいでたぞ。
あんなに激しく動いてないですよ。
でも歌はお前もかなりうまかった。
それはお世辞でも嬉しいです。
お世辞なんかじゃない。
ありがとうございます。
The song ended, and as the applause died down, Kahlua brought the mic to her mouth.
みんな今日は私たちボーイのライブのためにこんな時間まで残ってくれてありがとう。学園祭もついに次の曲で 最後だよ。この学園祭がひと夏の最高で素敵な思い出としていつまでも残るように。これで本当に最後。アンコールは時間の関係で受け付けないよ。それじゃあ歌います。レッドアイの名曲、ひと夏の夢。
The moment Kahlua shouted the song title, a cheer erupted.
としき先輩、ちょっと目を閉じてください。
なんだよ。曲が始まるぞ。
いいですからお願いです。
She smiled as she spoke. I couldn't tell what she was thinking, but I knew it couldn't be bad, so I obediently closed my eyes. She hugged me close from behind and covered my eyes with her hands.
いいですか？絶対に目を開けないでくださいよ。
開いてもお前の手で何も見えないって。
いいですから絶対に開けないでください。
She emphasized it. She was pressing her chest fully into my back.
背中の感触はサービスか何か。
バカ。
Even though I couldn't see her, I could tell from her voice that she was slightly embarrassed. From the grounds, the sad prelude to a dream of summer floated by, with it she whispered close into my ear.
としき先輩、今日は私、葉月みずなのためにこんな時間まで付き合ってくれてありがとうございます。学園祭もついに次の曲で最後です。この学園祭がひと夏の最高で素敵な思い出としていつまでも残るように、次の曲をとしき先輩に捧げます。これで本当に最後です。アンコールは時間の関係で受け付けていないです。それでは歌います。レッドアイの名曲、ひと夏の夢を。
It was what Kahlua had just said, but different. I could tell from her trembling voice that she wasn't just playing around.
俺はこのままいつまで目を閉じ続けてればいいんだ。
歌い終わるまでです。歌い終わったらそっと目を開けてください。
嫌だって言ったら。
としき先輩は私にもう一度さよならを言わせたいんですか？それが嫌ならお願いです。嫌だなんて言わないでください。あと絶対に泣かないでくださいね。ほら、こうやってとしき先輩の目に手を当てていますから、泣いたらすぐにわかりますからね。それに私、さっきの約束も最後まで守りたいんです。泣くだけ泣いたら笑顔でいるって。だから私も絶対に泣きませんよ。
Soon I was wrapped up within Kagha's song from the front and hers behind me. Her sad voice, along with the warmth of her body, gradually became dimmer. Taking in the meaning of the song, I couldn't bear it much more and I began to shake, tears forming. As if in unison with me, I felt a warm drop fall to my neck. I couldn't say anything more and had no choice but to wait for the song to end. And then, I couldn't hear her voice anymore. Till, I waited for the rest of the song to finish, like she told me. The concert ended, and people on the ground started to leave. It was silent on the roof. I still didn't open my eyes.
おさげ、後ろにいるんだよな。いるって言ってくれよ。俺、お前が目を開けていいよって言ってくれるまでは開けないぞ。だから、頼むから何か言ってくれよ。
Only my voice resounded on the roof.
水菜。
Unbearably, I murmured her name. Her name I did too embarrassed to say.
水菜
An unreachable voice, a devastated voice, but still I had to call her name.
まったく、そんな大声で叫ばれると逆にこっちが恥ずかしいですよ。
水菜
I opened my eyes and turned toward her voice.
アンコールは受け付けませんって言ったのに、先輩はわがままです。
There she was, bathed in the moonlight, eyes shining with tears, smiling sadly.
しかも最後まで笑顔でいるって約束もこれじゃダメじゃないですか。
お前な、卑怯だぞ。こういう思わせぶりなやり方は。
私だってさっきので消えると思ったんですよ。でも先輩が名前を呼んでくれたから、またちょっとだけここにいることができるみたいです。
それなら何度もお前の名前を呼んでやるぞ。
恥ずかしいからやめてください。それにいくら呼ばれても次こそ私は完全に夢の中に消えます。
She was smiling, tears flowing down her
待て
face.
よ。残された俺はどうすればいいんだよ。
私の人生はこれが全てですけど、としき先輩は明日がこれからがあるじゃないですか。としき先輩にとってはこれからの人生の方が長いんです。私とのことはひと夏の夢だったとでも思えばいいんですよ。
そんな簡単に思えるかよ。それなら俺からお前のところに。
I glanced past below the fence. There was only a deep darkness, like it wanted to absorb everything around. It was pathetic, but I felt my legs grow weak from just looking.
言っておきますけど、私を追ってきたりなんかしたら絶対に許しませんからね。こんな私でも悲しんでくれた人がたくさんいるんです。ですからとしき先輩は周りを悲しませるようなことをしたらダメですからね。
本当にもう会えないのか。お前はもう消えるしかないのか。
残念ながら本当にもうこれで最後なんです。
本当にこれで最後なら。
I went to her and held her tightly. I could barely feel her, but I knew that I was holding her and she let me.
最後の口づけですか。としき先輩、現実主義の割にはロマンチストなんですね。
なんとでも言えよ。さっきはめちゃくちゃなキスをしたから、お前が向こうに行っても決して俺を忘れないように、今度はこれでも勝ってくらい優しくしてやれ。これで全てが吹っ切れるわけじゃないけど、お前の存在を最後まで確かめたい。
そういうのは口に出すことじゃないです。
そうだな。自分で言っておいて実はちょっと恥ずかしい。
聞いているこっちの方が恥ずかしかったですよ。でもキスしたいのなら最後に私と約束してください。
約束？
そうです。これが最後の約束です。としき先輩はいつまでも私なんかに恋焦がれないでくださいね。
んだと？
実際恋焦がれちゃってるじゃないですか。もう真っ黒に。
自分で言うことかよ。
だからストーカーはやめてくださいね。いつまでも私を追い続けるようなことは絶対にしないでください。夢の中の人を追うようなものなんですから、文字通り儚いことなんですよ。ですからね、約束の人と再会する、そんな不思議な夢を見たことがあったなくらいで私 私を覚えていてもらえたら、それだけで私は満足です。
わかったよ。お前のことなんて3歩で忘れてやるよ。
最後までトシキ先輩ひどいです。
たく、約束するよ。
I held her close, but I really felt her fading. I pulled her closer again and our distant lesson.
だからミフ、
普段呼んでくれない名前を耳元で囁くのは反則です。
She said that and shyly closed her eyes, tears flowing down her face. I pressed my lips against her. The moment I felt her lips, she was surrounded in light. Then the only thing I felt was a small lump of her lips melting into the darkness of night. Kimi ga ichiban no shiawase nanoni, anata to no omoide ga ichiban no fusiawase da nante. Sonna kanashii ga kitto uetara tsuyosa ni such a good song. Nagarete iku fukei, utsurikomu jibun no me o mitsumete sotto kochi ni shite mita. もう一度だけあのエロディを流して私はあなたを思い浮かべる。愛していたよ、ずっと言いたかったよ。この気持ちも今の風景みたいに流れてく雲の中の鐘、そして目覚めゆ季節へこの夏、ひと夏の夢に I still love it. can say goodbye for you. Game nyangkut. Game nyangkut. Merusak momen banget. Gitu sih, masih ada epilognya loh. Game nyangkut, sedih banget. All about goals, ya. Narsisu aku udah main. Ya, kalau misalnya ada yang mau main, linknya ada di description. Ini bisa main pakai browser. Ini aku main pakai browser. Harus ngulang dong. Tidak, once again.
そういえば私、
お前も2曲目は今の
まったく。
Tidak.
そんな大声で叫
All
ば
over
れる
again.
逆にこっちが恥ずかしいですよ。
水野
Oke. Sampai situ aja ya. Kalau nggak kita ngulang sedihnya lagi. Oke, so that's it for today. Ini gamenya Hitonatsu no Yume, A Dream of Summer. Sudah ada versi bahasa Inggrisnya. Tinggal klik link di bawah. Terus kalau kalian mau main, ada 2 ya. Ini download buat PC. Ini buat main di browser. Kalau pilih main di browser, tinggal diklik aja. Terus klik ini, tombol yang ini. Dan kita akan kembali ke menu gamenya. Oke. Ini kreatornya namanya Milkcat, Nekono Milkcat. Dia udah bikin beberapa game juga, dan sebagian bisa dimainin di browser juga. Tapi yang ada bahasa Inggrisnya seingatku masih baru A Dream of Summer aja. Yang Inggrisnya belum banyak di website ini. Tapi kalau kalian mau nyari-nyari, bisa di sini. Ada visual novel banyak banget. Yang lagi populer akhir-akhir ini itu ya, apa namanya? Yang Aquarium. Sering banget Vtuber Jepang mainin. Mungkin aku akan bikin stream yang Aquarium itu. Misalnya pada minat, aku coba main bahasa Jepang semaksimal mungkin aku terjemahin. Ya. Old but gold. A Dream of Summer. Yang minat, jangan lupa masih ada 1 road lagi. Si cewek ini. Siapa? Shiori. Aku lupa namanya. Shinoirin ya. Terus ada minigame juga. Minigame lempar kaleng ke Mizuna. Biar pansunya kelihatan. Jangan lupa dilanjutin. Brush Restoration. Brush Restoration nyari di mana ya? Masih ada sih. Aku main Brush Restoration dulu sampai tamat. Tapi mungkin streamnya nggak mungkin kayak gini ya. Maksudnya dia rootnya kan panjang ya. Ya mungkin menarik sih kalau misalkan kayak aku coba ngisi suara karakternya gitu ya. Brush Restoration seingatku soalnya nggak ada suara ya. Kalau dia punya link Brush Restoration boleh share aja. Mungkin nanti aku coba jadwalin buat main Brush Restoration bareng. Selain itu, aku terus mencoba mencari sih kayak visual novel yang boleh di-share kayak begini. Aku coba akan stream kayak mungkin 1 atau 2 bulan sekali. Seru juga soalnya kan kita nge-share cerita yang bagus. Walaupun nggak semua visual novel boleh di stream kayak gini ya. Oke. Ini stream yang panjang jadinya ya. 3,5 jam ya. Mungkin karena dibacain semua satu-satu ya. Aku kalau main sendiri kayak cuma 2 jam, 1,5 jam 2 jam deh seingatku game ini. Jadi nggak nyangka bisa sampai jam jam segini. Makasih banyak buat yang udah dateng. Ini salah satu game favoritku. Jadi aku pengen banget nge-share ke teman-teman. Apa ya, hidden gold ini ya. Buat teman-teman yang dulu main VN pertama kali harusnya sih pasti lebih demen, bukan lebih demen, pasti tahu ini sih. Soalnya ini salah satu visual novel yang ditranslate ke bahasa Inggris di awal-awal. Katawa shoujo boleh di ini nggak ya? Aku nggak tahu juga. Katawa shoujo. Doki Doki Literatur Club. Soalnya apa ya? Aku ngerti itu game kayak seru gitu kan. Melihat responsnya seru, tapi what I want to share is not the experience of like a plot twist or anything, but yeah, just like this game, I want to show the beauty of visual novel as a platform. Like you guys can definitely feel it, right? The combination of the music, the background, the voice acting, and the story blends into one, and like giving us that punch in the face as we cry our hearts out. That's I think is the appeal of visual novel, and that's what I want to share. Not just like plot twist like in Doki Doki Literature Club. Katawa shoujo kalau nggak salah kreatornya baru meninggal deh, jadi mungkin waktu yang pas buat kita kena. Aku paling suka rootnya yang mana ya Katawa shoujo ya? Yang bisu ya, yang bisu. Tapi Katawa shoujo tuh 18 plus nggak sih? Nggak bisa di stream kayaknya deh. Oke. Dan lagunya juga itu salah satu lagu favoritku di sini ya, Dream of Summer. Sayangnya nggak ada karaoke-nya sampai sekarang. Aku belum nemu. Ya kalau ada masukan-masukan boleh di-share ya. TT of the story. Oke. Ya, berhubung ini juga udah malam, gamenya juga udah tamat. Ya walaupun sebenarnya ada epilognya terakhir tuh, kayak si Toshikinya balik ke sekolah lagi ngambil apa ininya keychainnya. Tapi sayangnya tadi gamenya stuck ya. Kalau kita ngulang lagi kita nangis lagi bareng. Jangan ya, kelamaan. Mungkin hari ini sampai di sini dulu aja. Nah, untuk minggu ini streamku juga udah habis ya. Tinggal ada Shadowverse hari Minggu. Akan collab sama beberapa teman-teman lain pemain Shadowverse. Yang minat bisa datang ya. Kita akan bikin deck. Ya, jadi mainnya kita nentuin tema dulu, terus kita bikin deck bareng, terus kita coba main pakai deck yang kita baru bikin di tempat itu. Harusnya seru sih. Oke, kalau gitu dari aku cukup sekian. Jangan lupa tonton Goodbye Sengen. Aku udah cover Goodbye Sengen di YouTube. Dan tiap hari aku juga cover lagu pendek, refnya doang. Silahkan ditonton. Subscribe juga jangan lupa. Terus kalau ada temennya yang suka main VN juga boleh diajak. Kadang aku akan ngadain stream kayak gini. Kita bisa nostalgia VN lama atau cobain VN baru ya. Oke deh. Kalau gitu cukup sampai di sini dulu ya semuanya. Selamat malam. Thank you. Bye bye.